one, because you essentially telling them to not really stretch out too far. So for Kraken, this means that they might end up looking at something a little bit more thorough of a play, which could dial down their usual kind of flexible aggressiveness that we so come to accustomed to see.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what we're looking to expect. Seppi is going to be assisting in opening those hatches, provide some longevity, I suppose, to Pluto, who wants to use those exothermics in towards the site itself. And I mean, just look at the coverage that we're already getting from Kraken. There's absolutely no roam upstairs from Dynasty. They haven't tried to meet Kraken on their own terms. And now Kraken, they have some very, very key positions. In fact, look at this. They've got an angle. Unfortunately, it's not the angle you'd like if you were Kraken. Seppi falls, and that skeleton key no longer going to be assisting opening some of these walls.
Look, I mean, bare minimum kind of thing has been already achieved, so it's all good, it's all fine. Now, the main question is going to be how will they really bait out the C4 that is still in the hands of Drex. There's still one more impact grenade as well in the hands of Leb, so they could get rid of the actual, well, shields and all the setups, but so much utility dump has been done, and, well, the only price that was paid is literally just half of HP of Hunter.
Yeah, impact used to clear the shield. Nitro Cell followed up, but Elements with a hell of a nade onto Leb takes him down. Zeth in a bit of trouble as well. Hunter, he's just going to tuck himself into the corner of the toxic canister. Is it going to reach? Yes, it is. It's enough to deter him for the moment. But the jump in, Zethy's been baited. Elements finds himself as second of the round. And it's all starting to come apart. Unfortunately, Dynasty falling to the mind games, but Drex, that is huge. Playing mind games of his own, and Tilt finds the angle. What could have been a hero play quickly shut down, and the toxic canister, the last Spruce right now is committed. It's going to deny for the moment, but there is time to play with shoots being low. Tiltek has a hell of an angle, and that's going to shut down one of the two remainers. Spruce in, can't do anything. Tiltek is a beam cannon.
Oh, Tiltek, absolutely just gunning for everyone. Look at this precision as well from him. But yeah, look, from Dynasty, a solid effort overall, but I think they got a little bit overzealous with the sheer utility dump, because that was in the matter of just a singular second, both the impact grenade plus the C4 already drained, and on top of that all, they dumped on one of the smoke grenades, which felt a little bit almost unnecessary, really, but difficult for them probably to also, get a proper reading on all of that, and it's much easier for us to criticize the teams. But regardless of that, maybe a little bit more of a spacing of the utility could have done a much better job there for Dynasty. Apart from that, it was still a pretty decent hold. They managed to get rid of that initial aggression that Seppi was looking to put up, but just the rest of the setup from Kraken Esports Club has been just a little bit more deadly. So for Dynasty, nothing too worrying just yet, albeit defense, one would probably want to see a little bit more of the points to be gained in the beginning of the matchup, but alas, still 4 points to be possibly gained by Dynasty, so nothing too catastrophic just yet.
But I mean, that's the thing though, Cthulhu. If you're Dynasty, you don't want this getting anywhere remotely close to overtime, because even at the moment, a regulation time win puts Dynasty squarely in first place off the head-to-head. It would put both teams 3-1. An overtime victory still puts Dynasty 1 point. Actually, no, it would be 2 points, because Kraken would get one of their own behind Kraken at the moment. So this is literally an all or nothing moment for Dynasty. If they lose this, Kraken are nigh untouchable for the remainder of the stage.
Although that is also assuming that Kraken continues their kind of performance as it was up until now. So still a few
the boot fits.
Yeah, if the boot fits. But still, regardless, yeah, you do make a good point here. Certainly a few opportunities are there. Drex, though, does open up a really good opportunity for him. Seppi out of the equation very early, albeit I gotta commend. Kraken has been just clinical on those trades. It's been just so clean to watch them do that.
But the thing is, that was Seppi. No secondary hard breach gadgets for the remainder of the round, which means all the hatches are either Pluto's job or they completely forsake them and look to go a different avenue, which is a dangerous prospect. That could definitely put this in a doable situation for Dynasty. Kraken, yes, they've been able to play off their frags. They've been able to take their one-on-ones, their two-on-twos, and been able to win them out. That is an incredibly favorable trade for Dynasty, though.
Absolutely. Well, it seems already Pluto's utility has been started to get used to try to make a play. Unfortunately, a little bit of a premature C4 from Leb as well will ensure that only Zethi has the C4 ready to go. Actually pre-ripped and ready to be thrown out, but unfortunately won't really get to use, as the poor man is now unfortunately stuck at the server rack. So Dynasty will be trying to make all their efforts to just play for the server stairs rather than even letting them get remotely close. So the moment that take is successful, if it's successful for Kraken in the next less than a minute, well, it could be pretty much an avalanche of problems.
Toxic Canis is being committed. Blue stairs and Leb to find the kill onto Elements makes this very doable, but Hunter swinging in and finding Leb on those server stacks means that all of a sudden Spruce is in a dangerous spot and he's been caught for it. 3 versus 2, and the favor is there for Kraken. They need to make something happen with Hunter. With that deployable shield, Zethi waiting with the Nitro Cell to try and throw something up means that the only gun active for Dynasty is Shoots currently, and he's watching the same angle that Zethi is. Nitro's tossed deep. It's going to get Hunter down, but not killed. He's recoverable to swing. Zethi does get the kill finally, but he put himself in a dangerous spot to do it. He's going to lose his life to Tiltek, who's not missing those shots ever. Given the opportunity, he's going to make it happen. Shoots. He's got to rotate around. He's got to find an angle. The plant there being committed to Pluto on the cover, and Kraken take 3 in a row. Dynasty, 3 rounds, 3 stumbles at that finish line has allowed Kraken the scoreline.
The timing as well, it must be getting rather frustrating, because 2 times now already Dynasty players been cut off on that timing. The moment that plan going down, it is almost clinical now that Kraken players, one planting, one swinging directly. They're not waiting for the aggression to come to them. They're the attackers. They're the ones that get to aggress. They're the ones to get to knock on people's doors. That's exactly what they've been doing so far. Kraken doing a really solid job, albeit Dynasty also almost managed to make it work. I mean, that defense of the server stairs and server racks has been almost perfect, minus the unfortunate loss of 2 players that tried to escape the server room, but surely by this point they would have known that it's well, borderline impossible to escape it, and maybe some sort of a software rotation would have needed to be done.
That is an incredibly heavy investment into this elevator position. The deployable shield, full ADS coverage. I'm just a little skeptical that this is the right call for Dynasty. Yes, they're down 3-0, but how many times have we seen a half go 3-3 after a start like this, especially in the OCL?
One will have to wait and see, Panda, it seems, because yeah, I'm with you on this one. That's a little bit of a, almost feels like an overkill. All 3 of the ADS is dedicated to that one position, where they could quite honestly be dedicated to a couple different positions. Even by the vending machine, at least one could be able to prolong Leb's position for quite a long while, but obviously that doesn't look like that's gonna happen anytime soon. Spruce's position could have been reinforced with the ADS as well, so you know, Zethi must have had a completely different idea behind that, but seems for the time being, well, Tiltek is already out there. He's open.
Collaboratively, Tiltek and Pluto are 12-0 right now, which is a pretty terrifying prospect. The best times, but Tiltek manning 8 of those kills. Drex down, like you just said.
Located a bomb.
And it seems we are finding ourselves in this spiral. A rough start, yes, but has quickly turned into a catastrophic half so far. Kraken are poised to run away with this and take that promo spot at the end of the stage.
Absolutely. Like Kraken. Well, Tiltek on the interviews did mention that they're not really fussed about anyone. It seems like that was all coming to fruition, because so far not a whole lot of teams were able to take them anywhere close, albeit, well, this is only, what, 4th round, so maybe some sort of reverse sweep could come to fruition, but in the way how Pluto just absolutely stomped on Spruce, that could be rather dangerous. 4v2, once again, still half a round to go, so Shoots and Zethi are the last players remaining. Shoots is still yet to get on board, and, well, Zethi has been having a little bit of a bumpy road.
They finally take down Tiltek, but it's a small consolation in a round that could quickly spiral even worse out of their control. They do drop another Elements to fall, but Shoots caught on the reload, the pop flash as well. Shoots somehow in that spray of shots from Pluto. Shoots is taken down. I did not quite understand how that connected in a way to take him out of the equation. But now Pluto on the plant, the coverage from the rappel as well as deep over towards the balcony, and Hunter, of course, shuts it down. I mean, Cthulhu, at this point, what do you do? Tech pause, it'd be a small start, I think, in the comeback train.
Tech pause is very much necessary here for Dynasty to figure out what is happening in their camp, because we looked at at some of the games like on Skyscraper. Yes, whilst it did end up being quite close, it still looked rather decisive on the rounds that they were winning. But you actually did make a really good point at the beginning of the match that a lot of their rounds did go in their hands when it was the other team that is making mistakes. So with the way how so far Bank been unraveling, I'm somewhat inclined to actually possibly start imagining, well, a cheeky 7-1, maybe 7-2, because with the way how Dynasty been progressing, with every round
be
it's
in line with Kraken so far.
Oh, yeah.
This would be their 7x. They've had 3-7-2 so far. This would be a. Look, honestly, why not go one better? Go 7-1, 7-0.
Look, I mean, after the
Cthulhu.
sheer beef on Twitter, well, might as well.
Oh, look, a bit of smack all around. But I mean, that's not even the craziest thing right now. So last stage, 2 players from Kraken set the KD record, that being a 7.0 KD by the end of the map. One was Tiltech sitting at 14-2. The other was Luna, who was sitting 7-1. Tiltech is currently 8.0 in his KD, and Pluto's only 2 kills behind at a 6. So the numbers are looking kind of scary. With Tiltech already up through dirt, he's already in server unscouted. They have a Valkyrie. Hopefully someone spotted this, but they're just gonna bum rush the site. They're about to be in. What is going on? Spruce is dead. They've just come in, cut him off at the knees, and all of a sudden the site is about to be theirs.
Oh lordy. Dynasty, look, I'm gonna make an official, doctor's conclusion here. Dynasty are looking kind of lost. Although at least some more pre-fires finally do result in the demise of Tiltech, but damage already been dealt, Panda, and with Dynasty, well, they now need to go kind of play on the go. There's still Hunter ready to go. There's still players about to go in for the pushes. Drex, though, can make that change, and he could make the big play, but the plant is already starting to go down. What do you do?
There's 2 Nitros. Where are the Nitros? What is here in terms of denial? Kraken have got the plant off. How is this being allowed? They will drop Seppi. Cool.
Drex.
That's one. Drex on the flank could shut things down. He's going to get some shots up and we'll find Hunter. It is down to Pluto, who is flawless currently. The Nitro cell's not going to be enough. Finally, Dynasty will get a round off the back of an overextension from Kraken. The audacity and the rush play. But that should not have even gotten remotely close if you were Dynasty. You should be incredibly concerned that just happened.
Well, can't really fully blame Dynasty on that, because they still had quite a fair few roamers. So the fact that, yes, while Kraken were able to bum rush the actual site is absolutely good and sensational, and they were able to get the plan, they didn't really accommodate for the fact that, well, there's going to be quite a fair few people rotating back onto the site, and probably could even come back literally the same place where you just found a frag from. So bit of a misplay on both ends, I'll say that. Definitely a little bit not frustrating, but odd, given that this kind of position was not really even,
but
looked upon.
They have a Valkyrie.
They do.
No
they do have
one,
a Valkyrie,
absolutely
yes.
no one knew. So either no one was checking cams, or if they were checking the wrong cams, because Spruce should not have died. Spruce should never have died, at least uncontested anyway. So Dynasty are unbelievably lucky that they managed to pull that back.
Look, I mean, I think we maybe kind of may have a little bit misplaced a few of the judgments about Dynasty's kind of play. Yes, it was kind of not particularly great, call it that, but I mean, overall, by this point, Kraken did get a little bit too cheeky as well with because in a full-blown serious, when it's even Steven kind of powers from both teams, I doubt that we are going to be seeing Kraken pull this kind of stuff. This absolute just direct rush, almost borderline on site directly. So there's a few questions that still yet to be answered. So I wouldn't put it past that this could be kind of the start for Dynasty to really make a play. But I mean, it's a little bit too late of making that play, really, given the fact that, well, Kraken already managed to score 4 points in this first half. So the best case scenario for you is a 2-4, and that is on your defense.
Well, here in the final round of the half, Cthulhu 4-2. Not irredeemable, but not ideal. Let's put it that way. And Spruce is going to remain completely fragless in the half. Elements has pushed through Tellers and taken them out of the equation. It's one of the 3 Nitro cells that were in play as well. Not ideal, but it's Drex on this roam as the Frost. Up main stairs could well and truly upset this push, especially if the angles found Hunter, the drone, to carry on through. They're not going to know Drex is here. Never mind. There we go. Now he's known.
Yeah, now he's known, yeah. Look, overall, I have to say that Kraken still need to make sure that they... I like the idea that they're getting very cheeky on some of their plays. It's more so the fact that with that cheekiness, they may end up letting off quite a lot of rounds, really, against their opponents, which could end up resulting in their own demise. I do like, though, the idea that a couple of the soft walls have been left, well, soft, to be able to make those very big impromptu rotations, though the loss of Seppi is rather unfortunate, as it's, what, almost 3rd round in a row?
Not quite. It's been Spruce, the unfortunate victim, but yeah, Seppi being taken down this early, not the ideal situation. The ping's coming through. What a headshot from Zethi. Pluto, unfortunately, that KD is going to be ruined as well. Hip spotted there by Tiltic, but it's too far away for him to connect. Okay. Luckily, they have support element. Swings the breach, finds the frag. And all of a sudden, Tiltic has the prime position to rotate through, find the player, and he does just that. Diffuser picked up. They're going to play the safe game. Rotate back outside, but what was that? The 180 onto Leb. And even Leb knows that was a colossal mistake. Drex left alone to clutch up the 1 versus 3, and the plant will be secured. That is a tilter and a half.
Oh no. Leb had him dead to rights and still ended up dying. That is unfortunate. Just completely. Yeah, look, I mean, a bit of a tilter. I definitely would love to see if there was any sort of a replay on that. I would really hope to see how that actually came to fruition, because that must have been one of the more nuttier plays and more nuttier swings.
Limited time remaining. Players outside in the breach, prone as well through the wall. The shot's connecting, but Drex takes down Tilt. He hasn't got the time, unfortunately, so it should be a free kill for Hunter. Hip fire, no less, as well. And Cthulhu, the 5-1 half in the bag.
Yeah. I don't think we are here for long, unfortunately, on this map, as much as we were quite excited to see it pop up on the map bans and picks. Well, Dynasty... Whilst they do look like a team that is gunning for the top 1 position, but it's so far has been unfortunately only the looks and less the performance. As much as I hate to really call it here, it's been rather unfortunate for them.
Well, I mean, we did tout this last week as the biggest hurdle that Kraken were likely to face the stage, and even then, a 5-1 opening half on the attack, no less, for Bank. Now they head over to the defense, which is I mean, look, that's the OCL in a nutshell. That's where majority of teams feel the most comfortable. This could be and Cthulhu. Forget what I was about to say. Tiltek is running the M870.
Hey. There's no need to slander the God gun. The M870 has.
I'm not saying it's a bad gun. All I'm saying is there will be violence this round.
There will be violence. There will be plenty of that. It's more so. Look, with Tiltek, knowing what kind of just odd shenanigans that he's been allowed to get up to, I would be surprised if he won't find any frags, especially with that shotgun, especially on say position like the service stairs.
5 seconds left.
It could be a banger.
Well, Drake's picking up the mantle of the Nook, and Lev, in fact, bagging himself the OSA. We've even got a bit of a trifecta for the veterans of this team. Ying, Nook, OSA as the trio. And you've got Zethi and Shoots playing entry on the Zofia and Ash, respectively. But it is Tiltek here. Yeah, look, this is well and truly cursed. Unfortunately for Kraken, you've got Dynasty as your opponent. They're a team that have a plethora of experience. They've got so much, maturity and wisdom in their roster. Of course, they're going to approach this smartly and go top down.
Yeah, especially if they droned out and even seen the fact that, well, Jaeger is bringing out the pump shotgun rather than the carbine. Well, could be a completely different outcome as well. Overall, I gotta say, well, could be an interesting setup given the fact that Spruce could also dub as that second heart breacher as well. Or actually, pardon me, the main heart breacher. Given that he's the only one that can actually go through all those hatches. So this is going to be a very much of a forced push by Dynasty and kind of almost what feels like a last-ditch effort.
I mean, it's more or less what it is going to be, of course. And, well, for now, Dynasty are utilizing that information gathering potential. Unfortunately for them, they have 4 drones remaining, 6 of them off the board very early on into the round as we head to the second half of said round, in fact. I mean, that's risky. You are going to have to win this almost entirely on gunplay alone. Elements is in danger from the car garage, but Drex, unfortunately, not going to find the closer in that kill.
Yeah, Drex could have made that really huge opener, really. He is kind of one of the big masters for Dynasty to be that person, that element of that sudden unpredictability to be able to absolutely thwart any sort of chances. Not too sure about the camera setup, but Drex certainly already spotted out that the yoinked Mozzie drone is there ready to gather some more information. So his position has been well and truly revealed. I say that though, well, revealed and completely negated, thanks and courtesy of both the camera on the side mirror and the yoinked drone. So now that leaves, well, Dynasty with only 2 opportunities. You either push the servers, which is currently being gate-kept by the man himself, or you try to push the main stairs with a singular
of course
person.
He's going to aggress onto the top of the stairs.
They're
They're all sitting in the flames as well. My God, he could do some real damage if he swings past the shield. There are kills aplenty, just waiting on the horizon for you, Tilt. He's going to stand up for 1, but 2! No! Spruce finally gets himself on the board, but look how much health he had remaining. That was so dangerously close. Hunter dropped by shoots as the flood onto the site comes. Spruce looking for the plant. The Candela's there, but no! He's been denied by Elements. No time remaining. Cthulhu, Kraken are looking to do it in record time.
Elements ran in just as before the Candela actually managed to flash him. That is, again, perfect timing. I think basically the whole summary of this matchup, I feel, is literally just going to end up being the game of timing. Kraken so far had a borderline one of the best games that they could have been presented against what initially felt like the biggest opponents in this season, Panda. And they are about to possibly pull a 7-1. Look, I mean, all I'm gonna say, Dynasty, you challenged Kraken on socials to, talk about the win when they get the win. Well, that's possibly about to happen in the next 3.5 minutes.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's one of those situations which, I mean, we have built up and then encouraged, maybe a little bit more so than we should over the last 8 to 12 months. But it's a case of, if you are going to talk a big game, you sure as hell better be able to back it up.
Absolutely. Gotta walk the walk and talk the talk, and, well, certainly Kraken has been rather proficient in that ever since the beginning of Season 3 from back in 2021. Now going into this one, looking to continue that very streak. I have to say again, we've been roasting occasionally a couple of the players from Kraken before. Now it feels like they're back in their own, like, in their overall whole element. It doesn't look like, well, yes, okay, unfortunately for Seppi, things been a little bit rough, but he's still been able to achieve the bare bones necessity from his utility for the majority of the round. So it's not like, yes, in the fragging department, unfortunately, it's not been his forte today, but he's still been able to find those openings, open up certain positions, find those possibilities for Kraken players to pretty much just snowball directly onto the side. Seppi, not for long though. This time, one of the more impactful operators, unfortunately not for long, and I have to commend on this one, Leb doing a very clean job on the window play.
I mean, once again, we are sort of seeing Leb unleashed in a role that he's more comfortable with now that he's able to do so. Look at him; he's leading the team in the frag department right now, 8-5. And I think we are continuing to see this storyline of Dynasty not quite finding their fit in the Oceanic Challenger League in terms of what they should be playing, and this 6-man roster that Spruce is trying to make work right now. Kraken, however, I mean, you got two dichotomies. You got a team like Dynasty who are trying to force the kinks out and make it all work in a single stage, whereas Kraken, they have been building towards this since, you know, the end of Stage 2 last year.
I mean, you could even talk about when they just first kind of came together at the beginning of Stage 2 and trying to find their own kind of strides even back then. But yes, you are correct. The conclusion of Stage 2 signed for almost a brand spanking new roster, and yeah, from there on out, it's been just an absolutely banger of a performance overall. Now, well, Dynasty looking to try to make a breach going for them, but Spruce will unfortunately have to be that one-man utility clearing machine that could be swung really rapidly. But look at the timing, Panda. 4v5 with still only 50 seconds remaining. You have quite a fair few problems because we still yet to see a whole lot of presence on the actual breach. We still yet to see any sort of tangible actual push towards the site. Yes, Shoots is in the stock, but you don't have any presence whatsoever yet on the Spiral. No presence on the Banana. Drex is still by the ATMs and only now finally getting a move on. And Leb is in a bit of a... well, he could be actually the one to possibly find that opener, but, well, not for long.
Unfortunately, there's also the matter of the two Nitro cells below. Drex will find the trade back onto Hunter. And as soon as this plant starts to go down, they have information. Tiltec for one, but all of a sudden it's a flurry of Dynasty kills. Zethny looking to make it happen. Elements will find the kill on the Drex of the Nitro, but at the same time, it is not the target he's looking for. The ping's coming out. Does he get the deny?
Oh, no,
he's got 2 seconds to play with. Hey, what? How has Elements done this?
What? That is absolutely insane. How that absolute of a heist has been performed by Kraken, and oh my absolute goodness, what an absolutely banger of a performance, and the clear communication and the timing once again.
Just the clear dichotomy of our excitement to Kraken. Just it's another day at the job, isn't it, boys? We look, this is what you should expect from now on. Why are you surprised that this is happening? But a 7-1 victory. Kraken have all but locked themselves in for that promotion spot at the end of the stage. But all of a sudden, it's a flurry of Dynasty kills. Zethny looking to make it happen. Elements will find the kill on the Drex of the Nitro, but at the same time, it is not the target he's looking for. The ping's coming out. Does he get the deny? He's got 2 seconds to play with. Hey, what? How has Elements done this?
Reinforcement of all the positions and crossfires. I say that though, Tiltec is good for one.
Schmidt crawling through, shut down as well. Cthulhu, he may have been good for one, but it's the team to back him up, and of course he's good for more. Tiltec, when he hits his mark, is an absolute demon, and that is not an oversell. As well through the wall, the shot's connecting, but Drex takes down Tilt. He hasn't got the time, unfortunately, so it should be a free kill for Hunter. Hit fire no less as well, and it's the only team right now to be currently lossless in the competition, alongside Secular Spheres.
Lonely already down to the field. Elements get to jiggle around his position for a fair bit longer.
He got the kill, and with the help of Hunter, that means they get the kill on the Jip as well. The entire attempt is nullified as they also bag Tester in the engagement. Element definitely pulled this out the bag, but Seppi for the first. One more, and it is done and dusted. Crimstar desperately sprinting on to try and turn the hands of fate. Player spotted, long range with the LMG, but there are bodies galore running at him. One for him, but it's all done. Kraken will take first in Stage 1.
Welcome to OCN for Kraken. Unfortunately, with the disband of Onami, it means no promo relegation match before our grand final for the OCS, but it's okay because we still get to see a team through to the OCN. Kraken, you know what, very quickly, let's just talk about Kraken because I can see a little bit of bias here on the desk, and I'm not gonna lie, a bit disappointed here, boys. But
the hypocrisy is a little bit sharp there, a bit prickly, Manic. We know you love your merch, and I'm sure you'll be getting yourself one of these soon too.
No, I don't think so. Kraken don't like me too much. I've got another Bliss logo. I should have said pink logo in my heart, but unfortunately that just is the way it is. I'll very quickly ask you, before we get underway with anything else, Blue, how did you feel as though Kraken's season unfolded? Because unfortunately we don't get to see them in the promo relegation fight, so give us some insight.
I mean, honestly, it's just a shame that they weren't in the OCL earlier last year, because we knew as soon as Stage 3 started, they were a team that was going to be pushing for that spot. And I mean, coming into this year, it was all but locked in week 2. We knew for a fact that they were going to be the ones taking that promo spot. And given the way Onami were playing, look, not to bag on the guys, we like them. Some of them are from OCL as well. But I mean, Kraken just looked so good this year. The one match they dropped, they were happy to because they'd already got the point that locked them in for that promotion spot. So they've just been looking phenomenal.
And Cthulhu, very quickly, summarize what's going on for them.
Honestly, just a very organized unit, very aggressive, but in their own kind of way, and a team that initially emerged from just the sheer chaotic nature of just a mumbo-jumbo of different pocket strats, now looking like a team that could easily contest for the top 4 in OCN, I reckon.
Oh, geez, that is a huge call. We'll have to have a look whether they do trend that way. Unfortunately, they did not do so in the OCS bracket. They fell out early. Speaking of the OCS bracket, let's go ahead and have a look at how it's all unfolded. Oceanic Championship Series, or otherwise known as Oceanic Championship Sunday. We are here for the grand final. Wildcard and Bliss go head-to-head. But how we got here is a little bit of a mystery for those that didn't watch yesterday. Cthulhu, would you like to summarize?
Yeah, look, we've initially on the main channel, it was a Knights versus Altadelias that was followed up, then Knights and Chiefs that had a really, really long overtime run. On the side of the secondary stream, initially it all started off with following Odium and Antic, where, look, Odium kind of looked very much of like a dominating force, but the moment they met against Ground Zero, it was all rather forfeited. Wildcard versus Kraken, the big highlight match that was expected to go the absolute long way, ended up actually, I believe, finishing in, I believe it was 7-3, 7-4 scoreline. And, well, for Kraken, yeah, look, they done their best, and maybe it was just more so Tiltek's kind of passion to get over to Vinny's house to provide the moral support, given that later down the line, Wildcard pulled a reverse sweep on the Knights in a pretty long series, not gonna lie. And on the side of the lower end of the bracket, look, Ground Zero got stomped by Team Bliss, albeit got on a number of occasions quite close to at least taking a map away from the pink logo team. And well, now we do have ourselves a grand final of Wildcard versus Team Bliss.
I mean, you've pretty much summed everything up there. Blue, do you have anything else before we get underway with the proceedings?
Oh, look, I think the bracket as it stands is kind of how we expected it to be, barring, obviously, the Chiefs. Unfortunately, having Knights Chiefs face off in the quarterfinals, it just meant that there was sort of an impasse. One obviously had to miss out, and unfortunately it was the Chiefs at the end of the day. And Twitch chat was definitely very vocal about that one. But the other interesting matchup, Odium versus Ground Zero. I mean, you got your second seed team versus, I think they were 6th on the side of Ground Zero. And Ground Zero came up with a massive match and upset them there. So, I mean, on the whole, look, Wildcard Bliss, they've geared up for a hell of a final, especially, I mean, Wildcard's return to form over the last 8 months has been such an amazing watch, and this is sort of that culmination of it.
It certainly is. Let's start to turn our attention to the game that we are here for. A best of 5 to determine who is really the Stage 1 champions. Wildcard go head-to-head with Team Bliss. Both of these teams with a fair bit on the line. Bliss through and through, missing out just every single stage last year. And Wildcard, obviously, as you've already mentioned, Blue, returning to a bit of form here in 2022. Seems like the new iteration of this roster is starting to come together. I want to take 1 second because it is important. I told everyone to move their anniversaries on the last night of OCN. I said this weekend, you want to watch all the action, move your anniversaries across. What I forgot was it is certainly a Mother's Day today, and we want to make sure that we do wish all the mothers out there, whether they be tuning in for their their sons, whatever it may be that might be competing today. We just want to wish you and extend you a very happy Mother's Day. We could not be here without you, literally, but without your love, we are not the people that we are today. Speaking of people that really just completely changed around and are not the team that they were coming into this year, OJ and Pat coming into this roster, Cthulhu, seems to have really bolstered, OJ and Cairo have really bolstered what was an otherwise pretty epic roster in 2021.
Absolutely, yeah. Look, introduction of Cairo as well from the old overt roster, the man who has been performing for that team previously so largely, and his addition to Wildcard. Certainly it took a while for it to properly settle in with the rest of the roster, so did OJ. But the moment they managed to find their ground, find their footings, and the chemistry, it worked out just almost perfectly. And I mean, the promo Relo tournament that me and Blue kept on referring yesterday, borderline for the whole time that we were on the microphone, kind of ended up serving as that, I guess, that healing kick up the ass. And, well, that's exactly where they kind of started their upward progression.
What do you make of this roster now, Blue? I mean, this is an incredible opportunity. I should just be calling you full name Blue Panda. But what are you making? This roster really has come back into form, and they could well be contesting in Stage 2 for that APAC South playoffs position.
Oh, look, I'm going to be perfectly honest. Watching them through that Promo Relos tournament, it was, you know, are they going to be the ones to take it? Are they going to solidify themselves? They absolutely stomp out Overt. They come into this year, they pick up Cairo, who was one of the best players from that Overt roster. A highly passionate gentleman who loves the game. Coming into this roster has given them that fresh revitalization, paired with OJ as well. I mean, I didn't realize that it was all that took for Wildcard to bump back to what we knew them to be as the Titans of ANZ. They're not there yet, like you said. They've still got a wee way to go, but coming into Stage 2, you can't sleep on these guys.
No, it would be a dangerous idea, because I think Wildcard have proven that you know, persistence and consistency really is a key factor for pretty much every team at the top. Cthulhu, they've missed out on their consistency, but they have certainly been persistent. On the other side of things, though, a team that has stuck together through the trials and tribulations, obviously picking up the great Fisho, the great God Legion of the Chiefs of old. This roster now looking to do some serious damage.
Oh yeah, absolutely. When we first saw the big transfers of Fisher and God Legion as well from Chiefs to Bliss, those were the two big performers that actually had a really big impact, whether it was with the stats or whether it was with the sheer dedication in utility and coordination as well. And Bliss, yeah, ever since then looked very much revitalized, very much ready to roll. And the way how they've been playing, look, it's been genuinely a pleasure watching them perform.
On a bit of cloud 9 potentially, Blue Panda. I feel like this is a good opportunity. You know, the OCS final, they don't have anything else that they're currently playing for when you consider, you know, the fact that promo relegations for APAC have already come and gone. This roster could well be the contending champion.
Yeah, look, we were all there for that, and yeah, unfortunately, they did just fall at that final hurdle. But I mean, Bliss, they're coming in with some passion this year. The drive has never been stronger at the addition of God Legion and Fisher. Shout out to God Legion's mum, one of the most vocal mums of an esports player I've seen in ANZ on Twitter. But they're coming into this year. I mean, you can tell their eye is set on the prize, and they will settle for nothing less.
No, and that's just really, at the end of the day, both of these teams are actually fighting for very similar opportunities. You know, a return to form, even a bit of proof that their roster changes have in fact been cemented and are in fact a contending team. Because what we've seen from Bliss throughout, I would just say the entirety of 2021 was just dominance. We thought that really they were the team, and unfortunately time and time again they came up against what was an elevated Chiefs roster and really just fell short time and time again. To no fault of their own, by the way. We do need to make sure that is very much a talking point. They came up against the best team that we have, period, in Oceania. Maybe that is turning. Maybe the tides may change. Do you feel as though, Cthulhu, this is an even matchup? We were talking about it last night. We feel as though that the power of both of these rosters, regardless of whether Wildcard is in APAC South and unfortunately Bliss only in OCN, but both of these rosters can go toe-to-toe.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I definitely think that this is as close as one can get with the matchup, because say if Knights would have pulled off their own win in the bracket earlier, that would have been a little bit of an imbalanced one, given Knights and their caliber and the sheer amount of experience. In this case here, yeah, like you alluded just before, Manic, kind of a clash of two teams proving their worth for the return to that big reputation, the scary reputation of one of the more dominating teams within OCE period. And with both teams sporting those big refreshments in the roster as well, I reckon we could have a full 5-mapper on our hands.
I think that is more than possible, and to see what 5 maps we are going to, it's time to have a look at the veto, of course. I have not seen a best of 5 play out, to my knowledge. No, I have not. In a 9-map veto, this is how it plays out. 2 bans, 2 picks, 2 bans, 2 picks, and of course the remaining map is the decider. Blue, I'll come to you first. We go Clubhouse and Bank first.
Oh, I mean, you're going from back to basics. I mean, Clubhouse, a staple of not just the ANZ scene, but the Siege scene as a whole. This should be a map in your repertoire. If you don't know how to play Clubhouse competently, you're probably in the wrong esport. And then we go to Bank, one of the fresher, newer maps in the pool that teams have absolutely flocked to. They've absolutely loved it, especially in OCN. So I think, honestly, this is going to be that great dichotomy. We're getting to see, a map that is already very, very, very well stratted out, and it comes down to how teams play it. And a team, a map that's a reasonably new, Bank, teams are still figuring out what they want to do with it, so the strategies are a little bit fresher. So it's going to be a great contrast.
Cthulhu, now that we're looking at it, 5 maps, are we going to see a 5-mapper, or will this fall short?
Absolutely. Look, I am very excited for this map pick setup because, yeah, like Blue alluded to, we begin at a very kind of stable ground where I think it is going to be kind of a question of momentum from both of the rosters, both on Clubhouse and Bank, as a matter of fact. And then going into the remainder of those maps, it is going to be basically about the preparation and the kind of the endurance run. And I mean, Wildcard already proven that they can go for a full swing pretty much any time of the day. Matter of fact, I think they more so probably would favor the longer run, just given how much it took them to warm up in their game against Knights. Here in a BO5 against Bliss, I reckon close to the middle end of the BO5, we are going to be seeing the juicy bits of Wildcard to start coming out. Whereas on the side of Bliss, I think they would prefer to close it out in the first 3 maps.
I'll be honest with you, I think any team's looking to close out the first 3. We do not want to see this go the distance. It could be a very long day ahead of us. Round of 16 done, quarterfinals done, semi-final done. It's now wildcard. It's Team Bliss going head-to-head, and we head over to 2 incredible humans, Dev and Mandy.
Thank you so much, Rob. Yeah, this should be a fantastic grand final. Hey, Mandy, how you feeling? You keen? This is your first ever grand final.
I know, first ever grand final. I'm so excited. It's going to be really fun.
Yeah, it should be
It's
fantastic.
a long day, actually. But
It
should be
probably
really fun.
will be.
Yeah.
Now, the thing here is that Wildcard have not seen a Oceanic Grand Final since 6 Masters 2020. It has been
wow.
a really long time. And of course, Bliss played and lost the best of 5 Grand Final at the end of OCN last year. Wildcard has never had a win over Bliss. In the 4 times that these 2 teams have met in the server, Bliss has had Wildcard's number every single time. And here we are at the inaugural Oceanic Championship Series with these 2 massive names in Oceanic Rainbow Six going head-to-head.
The Titans of OCN starting to go head-to-head. We had our doubts at the beginning of this season, I think, with the new roster changes coming through for either team. But throughout the stage, they've proved to us that they made the changes for a reason. Every single player is impactful in both of these teams, and I can't wait to see what they have to bring out here on Clubhouse.
It is Bliss's map pick to kick off the series. Of course, this is a single elimination bracket, so no team has an advantage. There is no upper bracket advantage. It's a stock standard. Both teams on even footing. Both teams will have to win 3 maps to take home the championship. Hibana and Thatcher gone off the board. We're probably going to be seeing a lot of Maverick.
Maverick indeed, and Hibana does mean that getting open some of those hatches does become a little more tricky. Sometimes we see teams now bring out the Hibana to try and open up that kitchen hatch when it gets kaited. That has also just been banned out, but there we go. Less ex-Kairos means that you can only open so many hatches in the round. So Mute to be banned out as well, meaning that droning a little bit more of a tall order for the attacking half. And also, some of those cheeky mute jammer spots aren't going to be there, particularly the one on the rafters.
I think a lot of people would see the mute ban and think, wow, that's very uncharacteristic, that's very unusual, and for the most part it is. Now, you can understand the removal of that operator to try and get some more information on the attacking side, but also, funnily enough, mute is an operator that Bliss love to ban. In fact, in OCN last year, in the OCN finals, Bliss banned mute every single map of that championship series. And so they have a history of wanting to get their drones in the building unimpeded and banning out that mute to enable so.
Mute, I feel like is a very staple operator. I mean, he brings a lot, not just the mute jammer himself, but the shotgun as well, the C4. All those things very important on Clubhouse. You use your C4 to deny default on CC, for example, that kind of thing. You can use the mute jammers in reverse to mute jam all of the garage walls, like top and bottom. So mute, it's very versatile on this map. I feel like it's completely justified. Bliss now taking us down to Church and Arsenal, looking like they're just going to hold on onto the site. We've got the Jaeger setting up his stuff in blue. We've got Fisher Guy on the smoke as well. So nothing too special here from Bliss. Wildcard, they will be given most of the map for free.
God Legion looking for this drone. Wow, that's some very proficient drone hunting from the Jaeger player of Team Bliss. Of course, a Chiefs alumni, as is Fisher Guy. I'm trying to think. I don't think we've ever... Yeah, thank you. I'm trying to think, have we had any former teammates now facing each other in the server? I believe Milo and Fisher Guy were once upon a time teammates on that old Noble / Sinister roster. Am I wrong?
Melon Cat.
Melon Cat, there you go.
Melon Cat.
So
That would be right.
We have some former allies now foes. I always like that.
That's exciting. Wildcard now starting to get in the building. OJ already making his way through the strip club, now dreading himself into bar, but not met by any Bliss players. The rest of Wildcard now shaping up to take the rest of the map. Cairo coming down the main stairs with that sledgehammer can start making use of that kitchen floor. So good progress for Wildcard so far.
No roam set up from Bliss, just trying to deny that early info, and they have already shot 4 of the attackers' drones. Actually, make that 6. Did I just see 2 drones disappear in an instant from Wildcard? If you keep your eye on that top left-hand corner of your screen, you can keep an eye on how many drones are left, and the answer for Wildcard right now is not very many.
Wildcard now electing to actually get open the Moto hatch. This is typically not a hatch that is mission critical if you want to do something like a kitchen drop, maybe indicating that they're trying to go for a triple instead. We do have Milo on the ace as well, so options are here for Wildcard along with 1 minute and 20 seconds. And like you said, only 4 drones. They'll have to use those to drone out the site. We can see Pat getting his drone down the main stairs, trying to figure out exactly what the execute plan is going to be.
I think that execute is going to have to be very centered around Church. You can see the blue hatch still reinforced, the kitchen hatch still reinforced, and impact grenades on Oda and Shade to try and deny any Ace Selmas from getting that kitchen hatch open. But here's the first engagement, and Repix can claim Pat's life.
Milo now starting to open up the church wall. Vinny pressures from blue as well. Vinny about to take an engagement onto the Jaeger player. That's God Legion going down, but Fisher Guy able to trade one back. Milo now is able to find one through the breach, so sight has opened up here for Wildcard.
Amongst the chaos though, Wildcard starts to collapse, and here is Shade on for a flank. Makes it a 2v2, planting now in lieu of the Evil Eye, enables information and enables a flank potential from Shade. He can't deny the plan, it's just not there. Now a 1v1, Milo versus Oda to kick off the grand final. It is Milo and Wildcard are here to play.
Wildcard a little scrappy there in the execute, losing the first pick, but eventually able to make that triple rotate work in their favor. Shade dropping that hatch, just missed out on the player that was covering the plan, so that could have been the winning play. But of course, all in hindsight, Wildcard, they did the steps that they needed to get that church execute to work for them, and they made it work with flying colors.
I really feel like this series is already delivering. We're 1 round into a potential 5-mapper. And these 2 teams have given us a show, coming down to a 1v1 in the opening round by the barest of margins. Shade, had he gone for the flank down the moto hatch in through short instead of trying to deny plant, I reckon Bliss would have won that round.
Absolutely. I mean, you kind of known if you're in the position of Shade, you kind of just want to get into moto, make sure that like there's no players there holding your flank or whatever it is, but it's okay. It came down very close in the end, and now Bliss, they've shown us something brand new here. They're taking us to bar and Stage. So like you said, this best of 5 series already shaping up to be something extremely exciting. Although Vinny has just CC'd for a sound bug, so we will be jumping into a rehost here.
And that means we get to see these beautiful face cameras. I gotta say, these guys, I love that they're all in very well-lit rooms. I'm an advocate of a well-lit room. I like to be able to see what's going on in the background. I love what God Legion's setup is. I don't recognize all the posters in his background. I wonder if Shade is a T kind of guy as well. I saw the mug there. Is this Baby Oda photos we're getting to witness as well? Is it, what is it, like at the park or like, you know, off for soccer training or something like that?
It's very sweet. Yeah, I agree. I do like the lit rooms. It's exciting to see the, I guess like the background that everyone's in. When they come through in like the darkness and it's just completely dark and then they show their face to the monitor light, I always have like a, whoa, it's a ghost kind of moment.
Yeah, I know a lot of the Chiefs players like to play in the dark.
Yeah.
Fisher guy used to be one of them, but I don't know what's going on. He's got a little bit of
Play
sunlight.
in the light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quite like that. I would love to know what's in all of these photos in the background. Is that like, you know, some dress ups or something? I can't quite see that. You know, one of our technical producers, Mike, does make a good point. It is daytime right now, unlike many of our matches. It's 4 p.m. On the East Coast at the minute. So, look, most of our matches are like...
light.
Exactly, this natural light
Beautiful
compared to like...
light.
Usually we're playing like 7, 8 p.m., right? And I guess if we tuned back in, you know, during map 5, maybe the players wouldn't have quite so much light in their rooms.
Wow, even the Wildcard players have light. It's just exciting. Usually we see OJ in the dark. Like, OJ is definitely the most ghastly in the darkness when he like comes into the monitor light. It's like, oh gosh, there's OJ. Yeah.
I mean, he's sort of like in $1 million mansion. I don't know, is that a pool outside or a spa or something? Like, I don't know where he's living because that
absolutely
looks...
ballin'.
Yeah, I mean, he's got the whole fitness center. It looks insane.
I'm not sure what it's like in Melbourne at the moment, Dev, but it is really cold. Like cold, it's also cold in Melbourne. Okay, it is very cold here in Sydney at the moment, so I hope all of you are staying warm. But yes, OJ with his hoodie made me think like, oh, I really want to put on a really fluffy hoodie or a really fluffy fleece right now. I'm very cold right now, but oh gosh.
Yeah, my late night gaming sessions recently, I've got like a broken window in my studio at the minute, and so it doesn't fully close.
Oh no.
And I've got this tiny gap. I've now plugged it with a towel, but my late night gaming sessions are freezing, and I'm wearing like, you know, 6 jumpers. I look like I'm about to go out and go skiing or something. But hey, we got to do what we got to do. That's what the weather's like.
Do you feel like the cold affects the players as well? Because like when you're cold and your fingers are like shaky and numb, do you feel like the players have like a secret hand warming technique?
But yeah, I mean, if you ever notice at LAN, a lot of the players are holding these little packages, and people don't
little
really
heat
always know what they...
packs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
okay,
Tiny little heat packs. They're, I don't know, the size of like a little packet of sugar that you might get from a hotel or something like that. And yeah, they're heat packs. And I know at LAN a lot of players use them. I believe usually the event provides them. I don't know if that's a technique that some of these players have picked up for when they're playing from home.
Listen, it's not something that you think that you would need here in the land down under, but maybe this weather calls for it. Guys, bring out your heat packs. Put your hands around a mug of tea. But now we're going to Bar and Stage once again for Team Bliss.
Yeah, I quite like this. I love seeing Bar and Stage. It's a bomb site that has come into, don't want to say favor. I don't think this is a favored bomb site yet, but it's been experimented with. We're seeing it pop up every now and then. We're seeing it teased out by different teams on the defense, and I think particularly with the dangers of picking a bomb site like Cache CCTV, which used to be so staple, and now, especially when you've got, you know, Maverick in and Mute and Kaid banned, you don't really want to be going to that CCTV room. It's just going to be so hard to defend. People are trying out, experimenting with these different bomb sites.
Ooh, Cairo finding a pick through the bathroom drone hole.
Was that through the drone hole?
Ooh. Okay, Cairo, that was a bit insane. I've never seen someone get a kill like that.
Was that?
Surely
no
not,
way,
he was
that was
outside of the
drone
building.
hole.
Oh, maybe he went to like
it was
kitchen
on
door
rappel?
or something.
Was it kitchen door wall bang? Was it from the window or main stairs?
Listen, we speculate, but Cairo's found the first pick, and Oda had no idea what was going to hit him. So Team Bliss now a man down, an anchor down. So they will have to rotate at least one of their players back onto the site. Meanwhile, Wildcard starting to get control of the rest of the map as well. Cairo has rejoined with his teammates as well to look for control in Con as well. So Vinny taken low though from a previous engagement that we haven't seen yet, but Fisho is now the lone Bliss player on the top floor with Cairo cutting off both of them.
Oh, it's going to be a roughie now for this Rome game, and Wildcard have made excellent headway, breaching now into Con. Fisho guy does have some support. Never mind, God Legion is now dead. Cairo has found his second kill of the round and is continuing to tear apart Bliss, enabling what is likely to be a very strong late round execute for Wildcard. Attempted run out from Fisho guy, and well, I mean, it just goes bad to worse now for Team Bliss, leaving Fisho and Shade in need to make a play, and now it is just Shade on this bomb site. A far cry from the 1v1 of last round. Now he will have to 1 versus 5.
Now, as long as Wildcard don't throw this, we've seen them in this position before,
Big if.
okay? You get worried. You start to get worried the more games that you watch Wildcard play. I can tell you that as an observer. So now Shade in the 1 versus 5, he's got a chance. The bomb is inside the bomb site, but Vinny will find the final pick. Thank goodness Wildcard go out without any casualties.
A very dominant round for Wildcard. And they have started incredibly strong on their attack. Of course, Wildcard had the opportunity to choose. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Can we see the traces? I can't see the traces. Can we
He's
get that
so
replay?
sneaky that we have no idea what happened.
The observer seems to... Oh, it's
Oh.
getting replayed.
Oh,
Can
it's
we get
getting-
it
it's
zoomed
gone-
out a bit more so we can see where Cairo is, guys? Hey, yeah,
That
he is...
drone hole!
Oh my god, he is at the
Yes.
drone hole!
Thank you,
That
production.
is amazing job. I don't know, is Isaac on replays today? Amazing job from production. That may be the sweatiest kill I've ever seen.
Absolutely. I mean, Oda had no idea what hit him. He was just going about his day, hanging out in the bar, and Cairo comes along with a drone hole and goes, bam, I'm here. You didn't know that though. Anyway, now, like you said, Bliss have to go back to a more comfortable bomb site. They've gone here to CCTV and Cash Room instead, try and attempt something a little more closer to normality. So Fisher guy here on the smoke will make all the rotates that he needs to, with Oda actually setting up the Goyo canisters on the top of garage stairs. So the rafters control will be delayed by about 20 seconds. Quite exciting for Bliss. I actually haven't seen this being done before.
Yeah, I think it's a perfect strategy to use against what presumably Wildcard intend to bring to the table with the Montaigne, right? Like, we didn't talk about it last round when OJ picked the Monty because, well, Bliss just all died before it was relevant. But in this round, when you see a Monty on a CCTV cash room attack, you're usually thinking that that Monty is going to be going in and taking control of garage rafters. But those Vulcan canisters make it a hell of a lot more difficult.
And then we go, OJ making use of the hard breach charge to open up the lines of sight necessary into rafters. Meanwhile, Pat's starting to get open the right side of the CCTV breach, probably supported by Vinny, I assume, on the rappel, while Cairo makes his way over to logistics to start putting pressure on the other side. Like, the fact that they're trying to get open this right side of the CC breach is starting to indicate to me that perhaps they're considering a con side push rather than going for a rafters or a garage take. So now we can see OJ is just sitting outside of the garage, and like you said, those Goyo canisters absolutely counter this Monty. Cairo now will shape up to join up with his teammates as well, maybe looking for rafters, maybe looking to use those grenades to try and flush out Oda.
Cairo's been doing very well for his team so far on the front line. Of course, found that very cheeky kill in that previous round through the drone hole of Toilet.
Attackers have located a bomb.
Now Wildcard fairly well spaced out, looking pretty ambitious with their push. It looks like Milo and Cairo are going to rotate, take control of Master. In fact, Pat is here as well.
Stage 2 now of the push for Wildcard. They have the right side of the breach open this time for them, so they can watch the crossover from any Bliss plays trying to play in that power position between the screen and the little single wall that goes into the bomb site. God Legion, he will try and contest out this roam clear that's happening, but will be taken low and decides to fall off instead. Pat now sending a drone through Con will call out to his teammates that it is indeed clear, and Cairo will find a pick off of the server window.
Cairo has just been on fire, as is now the top of the rafters, as Bliss have started to detonate some of those Vulcan canisters to keep OJ at bay, who is, by the way, already very low on an HP. That does mean Wildcard have to be extra careful, but they have opened up another gaping hole in the site, giving them an excellent chance.
Attackers dropped the diffuser. Attackers recovered.
The work of Milo's Selma charges now opening up a possible point of entry while OJ tries to get control of this rafters. Being pressured out from both the breach and from OJ.
Wow.
I would not want to be Oda right now. That is a world of pain. And there we go. Vinny finds the pick onto Fisher Guy. So that's the smoke taken down and the execute has to come out now.
Time is of the essence now as Oda still survives, finally goes down. It's all on Repix. We saw what he could do yesterday, but Cairo has just been on fire. And Wildcard have made 3 straight attacks in a row here on Clubhouse.
Cairo is finding picks left, right, and center. Left, right, good night, up, down, funky town, whatever you want to say. Cairo is there. Bliss Play is just running straight into his line of sight. All the cutoffs have been successful so far for Wildcard, giving them the opening kill every single round so far. 3-0 for Wildcard right now here on Clubhouse. So not finding much success for Team Bliss. They don't seem to be able to dial it down, reel it back in. They keep giving Cairo the opportunity, giving Wildcard the opportunity to get into the building and find that opening pick and eventually open up the round for them.
The first round of this map was very, very close, right? Came down to that 1v1. Shade was a millimeter off, a millisecond off denying that plant, winning the round for Bliss. Eventually came down to a 1v1. But since then, Wildcard has had Bliss's number. Cairo's found the opening pick the last 2 rounds, and these rounds have been fairly dominant. And it's just trending up for Wildcard here on Bliss's map pick, on what is, in theory, the unfavored side here on the attack. Wildcard, they have certainly started on the offensive, and they are not letting up the pressure.
Bliss now attempting an extended roam here into the top floor, supported by God Legion here on the Vigil, actually reinforcing off the Moto hatch, so they'll have to find other avenues to fall back into the site. But Bliss facing Wildcard with the challenge of this roam clear, which is not something that Wildcard struggled with in the previous roam, attempt that they did onto Church and Arsenal. Pat will now initiate this roam clear by opening up the CCTV breach.
It's going to put immediate pressure onto God Legion here on the Vigil as he pulls back, but Repix decides to get aggressive. A dangerous dance he will make, but he falls back now. Gets on cameras for himself. Gotta be careful doing that. He will be extra vulnerable. You can see, like you said, this is very much a hard roam clear by Wildcard. They will not let these Bliss players escape.
Thankfully, though, they do have OJ supporting on the Jackal to be able to sniff out some of the feetsies on the ground. And there we go. The first Jackal ping does come out and does find Repix, forcing Repix to fall back a little bit. But nevertheless, he actually does continue to contest on the top of the red stairs, trying to waste as much time as possible. I think that's 3 or 4 Bliss players here on the top floor as well.
Wow.
So Cairo, he's just seen 1 on the cutoff, but hasn't been able to get his gun up in time. OJ, though, will start to expedite this process by finding picks with the Jackal.
That is forcing these Bliss players back. However,
Ooh.
no one from Wildcard is watching this rotation, so the entire Bliss train just choo-choos all the way back to that bomb site with half the round wasted. Okay, that's a win for the boys in pink.
Absolutely. I think the Bliss, they've gotten quite a lot of value out of that roam. With wasting, like you said, half of the round, that's plenty of time. But still, Cairo, he will have to get that sludge into kitchen and start working the floor. Vinny, he'll probably rotate over to blue. They've actually been given quite a lot of control here. Blue hatch has to be forfeited as a Rio since they had to Rio some of the top floor as well. So Wildcard, they don't have to expend quite as many let's say resources to try and get themselves into the bomb site. On top of that, because there are no ADSs or anything of the sort, like One-Eyes, no shields, that kind of thing, getting themselves into these anchor positions should be fairly easy. The execute should open itself up here for Wildcard.
The enemy of Wildcard will be time as less than 40 seconds are remaining. Milo can get a breach here onto the main church triple wall. Oda has a line of sight, but he's about to feel that pressure as the Selmas detonate and Pat finds the opener.
There we go, and now OJ starting to take control of Moto. 24 seconds left to go, and Cairo has just found the second pick of the round.
This is making it so difficult for Bliss. Wildcard have put their foot to the neck and managed to scrounge a flawless round out of it. 4 straight now for Wildcard.
I mean, like we said, even though they wasted so much time in that mid-round, half of the round gone for Wildcard. By the time that Bliss came back to the site, there was nothing there on the site for them. The site was so bare. They left one of the walls open to try and contest that triple push that Wildcard were going to do, but it didn't work out in their favor. No ADSs meant flashbangs get sent in, grenades get sent in. It's really easy to get your Selmas off on the wall because there's no anti-breach, right? There's no anti-hard breach on the walls, that kind of thing, right? So you forfeit a lot of that. You forfeit a lot of that utility on the site, which Wildcard were able to take control of immediately, and eventually that execute just opened up beautifully for them from that pick from Pat on the triple wall.
It's amazing how the situation flips so quickly. Bliss absolutely had the advantage at that halfway through the round mark. I'd call that a successful roam even without a pick. And yet Wildcard, they waste absolutely no time springing into action, and they have some serious teeth. They pack a punch. Their entries have been nigh untouchable. That's 3 rounds in a row that Wildcard have found that opening pick, whether it's an early round wallbang or a late round execute entry kill. Wildcard can do it all.
Wildcard, they just know what part of the rounds they can capitalize on. They knew, okay, they're going to do a roam clear, let's repick onto the Jackal so that we can get through that mid-round quickly. We might not get a pick from it, but we'll force them back. Then in the late game, we know they have nothing on the site, so let's just go in for it. Let's just send it. Now, Bliss, they're going to go into CCTV and cache, and they're doing a more anchor-centric hold. We see Fisher Guy, he's got the mirror, he's placed the mirror on the CC breach even. So Wildcard going to have to put in a little bit of extra pressure in that early round to try and get some of those walls open.
Ever since the rehost after round 1, look at the scoreboard. Bliss has found 1 kill in the last 3 rounds. 1 kill in 3 rounds. That is how dominant Wildcard has been here on Clubhouse, which I will remind you is Bliss's map pick, for goodness sake. This has been a phenomenal showing for the fallen kings of OCE.
I've just realized I've got the bomb site completely wrong. It is gym and bedroom. It is not CCTV hash. I got baited watching them set up everything on the other side of the map. Anyway, Wildcard now making quick work of the Jacuzzi wall with Cairo starting to make a cutoff here into the ground floor, knowing that Shade is loitering on the other side of the map. Wildcard now, with step 1 done of getting the Jacuzzi wall, will start to shape up their plays for a sweep across the map, contested by God Legion at top of red.
Had to breach right on top of that mirror window after smashing the glass. Look at the way Bliss pull back here. And not interested in contesting. Cairo, he's looking for this pick. Nade eaten up by the ADS, but Vinny finds it. And that is the perfect pinch from Wildcard. Vinny now on the cutoff, and he finds the second one. Wildcard are just flawless. It really looks like Bliss aren't in this.
It really doesn't. It feels like everywhere that Bliss turn, there is a Wildcard player there watching them cross over, watching them try to come back to safety. But there is no safety when Vinny and Cairo have their guns up at you. Absolutely not. Wildcard now with a man advantage. They've made excellent progress. The Jacuzzi wall is already open. They've already got control here into cache. Now it's the time to send those drones in, figure out exactly what the execute is going to be. And there's only 1 anchor on the site for Team Bliss.
Fisher Guy going to feel all kinds of pressure now. Repix had such a phenomenal day yesterday. Multiple 4Ks and aces and clutches, and he hasn't shown up in this match just yet. He needs to. And there it is from Fish, trade immediately back. Less than 20 seconds to go, and Wildcard send it in. Vinny feels that pressure from Repix, but he's all the way downstairs, and Vinny now is on the hunt. Wildcard forcing that diffuser down, Ripix is out, and Pat cleans up the final player. It is all too easy for Wildcard here.
Just absolutely clinical from Wildcard. They know exactly what they need to do to choke out these Bliss players. Bliss, like we said earlier in this match, they haven't been able to reel it back in again. They haven't been able to sit on the site, sit pretty, and make sure that we don't run into these wildcard plays, because we know that they're going to be playing their cutoffs. We know that they will get all the walls open and do everything they can for that first pick without even stepping foot in the building yet. So Bliss, they'll have to be a little more careful rotating through this map. And here we go again. Bliss, they are looking for the same roam that was actually quite successful out there in the early and to mid round. That extended roam going through the top floor, dedicating some Ryus onto CC Breach, dedicating some Ryus onto Jacuzzi. But this time, I think we'll have to see more value out of it.
And this is when you're Bliss and you have to ask yourself, okay, what is going to work differently this round compared to last round? Are we going to really lean into that roam to guarantee that we find picks? And that is the advantage we're going to take into the execute. Or are we going to fall off like we did last time, but have a better, more strong on-site setup? That is the tough question, and I think Bliss have answered it with the former rather than the latter. They don't have much of a strong on-site setup, in my opinion. You look at these operators, and they are basically all to support the roam.
Bliss, I think like you said, they will probably have to find a pick on the roam rather than time. Because Wildcard, I think we figured out by now, they know what part of the round to capitalize on and exactly how to do it. So if there's any way to beat Wildcard, it's probably to take the fight.
Oh
That's not
my
going to work if
God.
Cairo just sends in a nade straight into the castle barricade, and poor Fisher guy probably just caught in the collateral damage there, poor man.
Honestly, what is happening today? This is a Wildcard. Just have they been blessed by a leprechaun or something? Because everything seems to be working for them. This entire match is working for them. And it's putting Bliss in such a rough position. Desperation will start to set in as Oda looks for a pick, but Cairo, of course he knows. Of course he's aware.
Like we said, left, right, good night, up, down, funky town is where Cairo is. He sees every play, he sees everyone. Pat has now put some, I suppose, assumed pressure onto the Jacuzzi breach by getting that open, but Vinny is actually going to drop straight into oil, realizing, okay, there's no one in the site, followed up by OJ coming in as well through dirt. Uh-oh, Wildcard, they figured out the hole in the bomb. They figured out the hole in the bomb site.
This is just freelo. I mean, no toxic. This is just straight freelo. Look at Wildcard. Is there any contest? Who will step up and do something? That's a nice attempted pick from Repix as I planned, but it leaves just God Legion in a 1 versus 4 with that diffuser now planted and no HP to fight it. A 6-0 lead and map point here for Wildcard on their opponent's map pick.
They look absolutely thrilled right now. Look at Cairo. He's just got the silly little, ha, I got the opening pick again for the 4th round in a row kind of smirk, which is, wow, Wildcard. They're just putting on an absolute clinic here on Clubhouse. They know exactly what steps they need to take. I want to commend in that last round as well. There was so much fluidity in that team. I mean, Pat, he set up some assumed pressure here on Jacuzzi, opening up the breach, making Bliss think, okay, they are actually going to go for this roam clear like they did the last round. But then Vinny goes, hey guys, there's only like one guy in blue. He's not looking at me. I'm just going to drop oil and kill him, pretty much. And then OJ goes, all right, I've just opened up a hole into dirt as well. I'll follow in with you too. Everyone, let's get on board with the same plan and go for it. That is a fluent team. That is a sign of a mature team that has really grown in the past few weeks.
Thanks for letting me see your
Thanks,
socks
Oda.
there, Oda. Yep. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe he needs to play with socks on. I mean, was he putting his socks on? Was that what they're taking this tactical timeout for? It's like, all right, guys, take a tack pause. I need to chuck some socks on. I will say, there is a bundle of laughs on this team. I mean, seeing Fisher guy smile is a rare sight, so we like that. Oda's having a laugh as always. So this is the vibe that you need to have and maintain. This kind of need to just say, well, we are getting absolutely destroyed. Let's start pulling our heads in.
Yeah, maybe they've gone, okay, we've done a boo-boo with the map pick. It's okay, guys. We're here for another 5 maps. So let's just not crumble under this pressure so early on and keep on going. And so I think that's exactly the kind of energy that you need going into a BO5 like that. It is a marathon, not a sprint. So very impressive from Team Bliss to show us like just how much mental strength that they have in this best of 5. Wildcard now taking us to Trojan Arsenal, also looking for a similar extended roam to what Bliss did. But this time, they have some pretty different operators. OJ is actually bringing the Bandit, so he can Bandit off any walls in the site later on in the round. It will mean that Triple will probably stay close, that kind of thing. Vinny has also actually gone onto the Wamai as well, so that will hold on to the blue pressure for a little bit longer. It means that Bliss, they do have to take a few extra steps. They have to make this roam clear a little bit quicker if they want to try and clear out some of the anchors on the bomb site.
And there's no room for error for Bliss. 6 rounds in a row is what it's going to take to push overtime. Wildcard will have 6 match points to push us onto map 2 with their advantage. And of course, Wildcard have absolutely set the tone for this series already. And I think that's only going to get more difficult for Bliss when we move to Bank, which is the next map pick. Bliss has never won a map of Bank before since it was introduced to the map pool. And Wildcard, it is one of their best maps. And so Bliss, I think they need to use the rest of this map here, win or lose, to get a bit of confidence, to get their heads in the game, to start proving to themselves that they have a shot in this. Because even if they go 0-2 in the series, there is still a window open for a reverse sweep. We've seen it against Bliss last year in the OCN season finals at the hands of the Chiefs. And so they need to believe that they can do it too.
I feel like that's where that confidence comes from, right? Because they go, all right, guys, we've been in this position before. We've been in Wildcard's position where we've won our 2 maps, and then Chiefs have beaten us. So we know that we have the opportunity to come back. God Legion is now getting his control here into blue, followed up by Oda, who's been joining him in, and will now start to get those exothermic charges in the building, can start opening some of those hatches, can start thinking about getting the triple wall open. Wildcard, although they haven't gone for the same roam, okay, there we go, and Vinny's also found a pick. I was going to say, although Wildcard haven't gone for the same roam that Team Bliss did, it feels like they've wasted just as much time. Half of the round has gone by, and only now are Bliss starting to work those hatches.
And of course, 6 rounds in a row now. Wildcard have found the opening pick. Oh, OJ just has so much confidence, doesn't he? Contesting those vertical holes. Doesn't appear to be any impacts to deny the Selmas. A C4, fairly desperate from Cairo, doesn't net anything. But Wildcard still have the advantage in the man count.
A bomb has been located.
Wildcard's still holding on to all the positions that they need to. Blue control's still up for them, while Team Blue shape up for what seems to be a kitchen hatch drop. Fisher guy holding the diffuser just outside of the window. Wildcard, they have all they need to contest this drop. Plenty of guns up watching this drop. Cairo in particular. OJ supporting Milo here in blue as well. So Wildcard, they have all the steps they need. They have all the ingredients they need to stop this push.
Time's ticking. Bliss, it's a match point against you on your map pick. And next up is one of your worst maps in the best of 5 here in the grand final of the OCS. Wildcard are looking to start very, very strong. It has been Cairo all game long. And now Milo has made it a 3 versus 1. Shade does not have it in him. Good half. And if that is a taste of what's to come, Wildcard may, for the first time in 2 years, be once again champions within the Oceanic region.
Wildcard, they gave us an absolute showing here on Clubhouse. They showed us that, okay, we can take Bliss's map pick here. We know how to play maps, even though you don't think that we know. And finally, breaking the curse of going 0-4 against Bliss each time in the group stage. So Wildcard, they've come back to show us that they know how to play Siege.
I'm not sure if you saw, did you see Luna in the background there?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, that was Luna just hanging out, having some, I don't know, some KFC or something with Vinny. I guess it's pretty much, again, Vinny's hoping for it to be a quick day so he can go and hang with his mates. I heard that some of the Kraken players as well were hanging out at his place during his matches yesterday. But wow, honestly, I'm kind of stunned, Mandy. If you had told me that the first map was going to be Bliss's map pick, Wildcard were going to go 7-0, and Bliss would get a grand total of, what was it, like 8 kills in the entire map?
Yeah.
I would have said you're dreaming.
Just odd, really. Just so odd from Team Bliss. But I think Team Bliss, we saw in that tack pause, it doesn't seem like it's phased them. So they're going to go into map 2. They're going to try and bring the heat back onto Wildcard. So show us something, Team Bliss, in this best of 5 series, because you have just gone down 0-7.
Bliss have so much work to do before they get another crack at APAC relegations at the end of the year. And we're just not seeing enough from them yet. We are not. Bliss, 0-7 on their map pick. Next up is Bank, and Wildcard are looking in the hot seat to be once again at the top of the Oceanic region. Map 2 is coming up after this short break.
Turn up, I wanna feel the bass in my bones. We taking over from your head to your toes. So take a picture, yeah, I'm striking a pose. We're on fire. We're on fire. Loving every minute, every day, every hour. It is Hey baby, won't you come with me? I got money like it grows right off the trees. I said no, I won't go. Hey darling, won't you join our clan? We're gonna fix you up, take you to the promised land. I said no, I won't go. And I'm ready for it all, ready for it all.
An absolute slapping to Team Bliss. Wildcard win their first game against the boys in pink in over a year and a half. And it's done in a 7-0 fashion, in a grand final, in a best of 5. This is damning. Blue Panda, have you ever seen anything like it?
Look, I've seen it a couple of times. We have experience with Kraken, but I think the saying goes something, something, and find out. And I think Bliss right now are finding out you don't mess with Wildcard, you don't sleep on them, and they just got absolutely trounced.
Yeah, I don't even know how to break this one down, to be completely honest. Team Bliss, I think by the end, had 5 kills in total, maybe even less than that. Cthulhu, this is a loss of huge magnitude when you take into consideration we now move across to Bank, which is not great for Bliss whatsoever.
Not at all. Yeah, look, Bank is going to be a bit of a problem for Bliss, and I mean the best way I think to really describe how Wildcard were able to keep on just pulling up with these kind of mad frags is the very moment when we had even on replay how Cairo managed to get a kill through the drone hole onto the position in the bar from the drone hole that is in the toilet. So it's just all of those setups that completely deviates from kind of, I suppose, the usual setup of Wildcard, and plus stacking that with the confidence. I think that was the kind of the win condition there for Wildcard. Whereas on the side of Bliss, it's just, yeah, look, maybe they're still waking up. That's the only kind of reasoning I have here.
4:40 in the afternoon on a Sunday. I
hey.
tell you what, that is, I mean, if it's taking you that long to wake up, Cthulhu, they really should be getting spanked 7-0. That's for damn sure. But look, I think you make a valid point there. If Bliss can wake up, if they can get back into the series, Wildcard will not be done yet. We head across to Bank, Blue Panda, which I am a little bit cautious of for giving any hope to Team Bliss. If it is going to be a barn burner, I'm still edging out Wildcard in this matchup. What are you thinking?
I mean, the certain match comes to mind last year, Wildcard Chiefs on Bank, and it did not end well for the Chiefs. I mean, yeah, Wildcard going to this map with the momentum. I mean, you talk about momentum, 7-0. They didn't drop a single map. They're keeping it quick today. And let's be honest, a bit unfair given, you know, the support factor behind the scenes, the supply drop of the KFC to Vince after the first match. Look, I don't even think there's a contest going into Bank.
No, it's a bit hard when you've got a whole crew behind you. Vinny apparently got a lot of love for him there. Cthulhu, we now move across, obviously. Bank is where we're headed. What are you looking for? What are you expecting to see from both of these teams?
Look, on the side of Bliss, I really would just want to see them get a little bit extra aggressive. I mean, we've seen this year that initial confidence, initial aggression in similar form from Knights, who yesterday were able to just in the first 30 seconds already make an entry into the building, already establish that early foothold. Same thing, I reckon, needs to be done here by Bliss as well. Because it felt like it was a little bit of a disconnect between some of their plays, some of their communications, and the attacks, and it kind of ended up kind of stringing the unfortunate events one by one, where maybe it was a little bit of an exhaustion. Maybe they just said, okay, well, this series isn't going too far. Let's just go next, and maybe Bank will be the go next kind of factor. On the side of Wildcard, look, just essentially as long as they keep their own mental in check, that's all that they really need, because for them, they just kept on looking previously like they were the ones to get into their own heads.
Big factor here. Too many go nexts, and you go home. That's just it. It is now essentially a best of 3 for Wildcard to close this out. They're already a map up heading into Bank. I can't believe this. We're going to go across to Dev and Mandy. Hopefully, Bliss have got something behind them.
Sorry, Rob. Did you say best of 3? Don't say that too loud. Bliss might hear you. They might get scared. Bliss don't like best of 3s. They don't like best of 5s. And if they show up like that in the next 2 maps, this is going to be the shortest grand final I have ever seen, Mandy.
Yeah, absolutely. I really hope that doesn't happen, though. I mean, Bliss, I would believe in the reverse sweep, honestly. I think, okay, if Wildcard took Bliss's map, they got to return the favor, right? Surely they bring the heat here on Bank.
No joke. If we can see a big performance here from Team Bliss on a map that they have never prospered on, and Wildcard always have, then it does reframe this series. It does breathe a second wind into Team Bliss's lungs after being embarrassed on Clubhouse. They will need to perform here on Bank.
Clubhouse, not the dub house for Team Bliss, but like you said, they absolutely need to give it their all here on Bank. First, taking out the Thatcher as the first ban for Team Bliss. Wildcard now having to follow up. Oh, that was a quick ban from Wildcard as well. And it will be the Nook. That is very odd. That is not the word that I expected to come out of my mouth when I was going through that one. But the Nook being taken out is actually quite interesting. I think Team Bliss, they will look for that basement entry, probably God Legion or Fisher Guy sneaking in. Oh, not even, sorry, not Fisher Guy, probably God Legion or like Repix or someone sneaking into the building, which Wildcard, they're not ready for those kind of rat plays, and Castle being taken out also does make that top floor bomb site a little harder to play. It means that Lounge isn't as safe, you're not in the cover of those castle barricades anymore. And so top floor, lots of repelling, it's all open for the attackers.
Yeah, extended holds are going to be a little bit more difficult with that castle, and anchor-centric holds going to be a bit more difficult without that smoke. I'm particularly thinking that basement site, and I expect we'll see the Tachanka fill that role. We've seen some teams combine both Tachanka and smoke. I believe Wildcard one of them. And since we are on lock as CCTV, that will of course be paramount. Now, just to reframe Bank and talk about the context of this map, this is Wildcard's map pick. They're first. They have already in the OCS defeated Kraken handily 7-3 on this map. In the OCN Stage 1, they took out Chiefs 7-2. So they are no strangers to Bank. Bliss, on the other hand, the only 2 maps that Bliss have lost in Stage 1 were Bank against Ludovica and Clubhouse against Knights. So now that we look back at the map, Vito, and see that Bank and Clubhouse are the first 2 maps, and the only maps that Bliss have lost in the last 3 months, perhaps it does reframe our perspective somewhat.
Interesting. Bliss, they must have let this slip through the ban phase for a reason. I mean, you can only have so many bans in a best of 5 with a 9-map pool, so they must have, this must be at least something that they've scrimmed. At least they know that they can try it here. So we'll have to see whether they can bring the heat to Wildcard in this particular matchup, though. Wildcard now starting their roam clear. OJ will jump straight onto the skylight roof, look for some picks from the roof, while Cairo starts his entry into the building.
Just what this Ying might play in the late round. Execute could be very much on for Wildcard. Of course, it starts with this early round in the roam that Bliss have brought to the table once again. God Legion on this Vigil. We saw it on Bank to very limited success.
Carinel making his way through Janitor Hall to find 2 roamers, although falling back into open. So Bliss looking for a sort of open type roam. I think one hatch is not Rioed. Is that the one inside the little admin box office? That one has been left soft, I believe. Okay, there we go. That one has been left soft by Bliss. So if they want to use it, if they don't get value off this roam and kills, they can open up that hatch with one of God Legion's impacts. Actually, that being said, that's just been taken out. One of Oda's impacts to try and make their way back into the site. Although opening that hatch is actually not too great for the attack because that is a critical hatch if you want to go for a server push. So Bliss, I'm not such a big fan of this setup so far from them if they want to play into the late round a bit later on. Cairo will now start getting angles open to try and cut off some of these roamers. And there we go. The first pick he will find with that Buck Skeleton key onto main stairs.
Cairo is in such an influential position to pick apart this defense. He's cutting off so many key positions and rotations within Kitchen, and really all it takes now from Wildcard is a bit of push to start taking out these players. God Legion forced to move, and now Bliss will rely on Shade in a very cheeky rat position underneath a desk, hoping to be misdroned, hoping not to be checked. And a player walks straight past him. starts to open up that hatch, he's going to wait until the late round to go for a flank. He's just going to sit here for the whole round.
Oh no, oh no, 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 wildcard. After you've made so much progress, you can't make a mistake like this. Shade sitting in the corner, Pat is droning right next to him.
Oh my god.
No! Oh my goodness, they've completely missed him. Mute Jammer right next to him, wildcard. They will start to look for the execute, and there we go. Shade pops up from the darkness.
And he can... No! Shade! How? My man! You cannot let that happen. You cannot get an opportunity handed to you like that and let it fall. Let it fumble. What is that? Now the round is a retake for Bliss, and Oda has just about no hope in hell. Wildcard are styling on Bliss, telling them what's what, and there is no reply. It doesn't matter if you've got a cheeky rat position. It doesn't matter if you get misdroned, because Wildcard has got your number. Phone home, there's an emergency.
Wow. That is unreal from Wildcard, and honestly, maybe I'm being too critical here, but I see that as a big miscalculation from Bliss. There were 2 hatches there in open. One that they could leave open to fall back on, and one that they wanted to rear up. They left this particular hatch open, and this one isn't a great one to leave open because we saw Cairo managing to get Teller's control, just opens up that wall for free, and there you go. That's your fall off, completely cut off by Cairo. The other hatch, however, is underneath a hard floor, so that can't be cut off anyway. If you want to play open, you want to fall off, that's the hatch that you want to open up. Anyway, Cairo once again finding all those opening picks, aided by that skeleton key, really opened up the round for Wildcard, and Shade not having any value off of that play. That was a very high-risk, high-reward play. Just didn't work out for Bliss in the end, and I just feel like that was a huge miscalculation in the setup.
I mean, setup aside, it is just unreal that despite having the 3 versus 5, despite everything, Bliss had one ray of sunshine in their defense, and it was the fact that Shade had been misdroned. Had he killed OJ, he would have also been able to deny the plan, and that would have basically been around over Bliss 1, right? Like, clutching victory from the jaws of defeat. And yet, he can't even kill the player who's holding out a Yin Candela. I mean, that's not necessarily throwing shade his way, pardon the pun, but the fact that OJ landed that, I think it goes to show what we saw on map 1 has continued on to map 2. Something about Wildcard, like they have got just God's luck in their match today. There's some kind of magic.
There is definitely some kind of mystical fairy magic in the air for Wildcard right now. They are hitting all of their shots. I can only imagine OJ's face, right? He's like, okay, we've just gone through open Patter's drone right next to Shade. And oh my gosh, guys, there's a guy picking my door.
Never mind, he's dead.
Yeah, it's all right. Anyway, Wildcard now starting to make their approach into the building again, aided by Cairo. We'll start to get open angles into... Oh man, this skeleton key is just so good for the roam clear. But unfortunately, OJ taken down by Repix.
And that is the first opening kill for Team Bliss in 7 rounds. Immediately traded though, of course. Naturally, Cairo will not let any response go unanswered. And Wildcard now have equalized the man count, but this time with the map control above that bomb site.
Cairo now can get his way into the top floor to start making work of the ceiling. Shade will now be in a very precarious position here, alone on the bomb site, and both bomb sites are actually susceptible to vertical gameplay as well, so he will have to make his rotate out if he wants to survive for the rest of the round. And there we go, Cairo's starting to open up the floor. Shade will actually immediately contest this vertical as well. Uh-oh, this could spell disaster for Wildcard. Oh no.
That's not so bad now for Cairo, for Shade rather. He's redeemed himself somewhat, and Cairo, the man who has been non-stop, has been put out of this round. Wildcard in a 3 versus 4, and this is a fairly difficult attack now for them. They don't have as much map control as they would like. However, they have now, I believe, made a breach onto that main site. Where was that exothermic charge? Maybe that was on the floor.
Oh no, it's a cut-off, right,
okay,
it's cut-off
there you
hallway. Okay, I see. So oh dear, Shade. That was a bit brave. Shade just walking through the Teller's counter there does get taken down by Pat, and that does open the side up here for Wildcard. Now starting to get the main breach open. The entry will have to be contested from angles on the main stairs, and there we go. That's exactly what Fisher Guy has just gone and done. Milo is now being collapsed on from the retake on the top floor as well. Uh-oh.
Wow, that was all 3 Bliss players together hunting down Milo. Oda supporting with the Yokai and the two roamers flanking at the same time from different directions. Really nice. It leaves Vinny in a 1-on-3 that he is not very likely to win. Caught between multiple angles and, of course, Repix to clean him up. That is the first round of the series for Team Bliss. Finally, they got around.
Finally, Bliss cracking into the shell of this best of 5, picking up their first round on the back of some excellent retake play on the top floor there. Milo, he was just under so much pressure, and that vertical lines meant that it was not safe for Pat and Vinny to eventually get their way into the site and try and plant the bomb. So Bliss, they knew what the win condition of that round was, and they retook straight into it. Really well played from them, and something I want to commend as well is Shade actually taking the fight on the vertical. He really wanted to redeem himself there, looking for a little bit of a cheeky play that eventually worked out onto Cairo. So yeah, well played from Bliss in that round to get back into this series, and now they take us onto Executive and CEO office.
For Bliss, you can't just lay down and let this happen. You know, you have to contest those vertical lines. You have to back yourself into some unfavored gunfights and keep shooting your shot, because if Bliss are to start falling back and playing passive, playing scared, it's not going to work out for them. They really need to play it like they're the better team. They need to respect Wildcard, but not too much. Because you respect your opponent a little bit too much, and you start to give them a little bit more headroom than perhaps you should. Bliss, I believe they can come back here into this series, but it's a long road ahead.
Something that I want to quickly touch on is that Bliss, they have gone to the top floor bomb site, and Castle has been banned out for them. So typically we see the Castle being used to make that lounge position a little more powerful, a little safer for an anchor to hold a 1.5x or a 2x or something like that, but that can't be done anymore. So we'll see a lot of pressure coming out from those north repels. Meanwhile, Cairo will start to get control into stock, aided by an Osa shield.
I quite like the use of the Osa shield here.
I'm a fan of this.
Yeah. A lot of the time you will see aggressive peeks out from stock, and now Pyro having the support of the shield means that he has a little bit stronger of a defensible position. Now come the flashbangs to burn any magnets. Over goes both a nade. Wait, was there an impact just used then to deny?
I think so. That would
There
be
you
from
go.
God Legion. Oh, wow, very nice. Oh, and I think Ripix is going to see it from below as well. Oh, not quite.
That was a really nice attempt there from Bliss to deny the line of sight being open on stock, but eventually Wildcard do manage to breach that stock wall. It does take them 2 Selmas, so only a single Selma remains for the CEO walls.
And that's kind of all they need for this particular push. This Osa push is my favorite push in the entire game right now. I love it. So Pat, he's just recollected his shield off the balcony that Cairo was using beforehand to try and get open the stock wall. And now he will start making his way into the bomb site. So one Osa shield can go down here. This is your plant shield. And then another one can be used for the post plant in the hallway. And it's absolutely just my favorite push ever. So now Pat, he can start getting this plant out if he wants to, and can even shatter the glass so Bliss don't even know that he's going to go for it.
Wow, this is very, very cheeky. Does Oda have a yokai? Pat baits it out and manages to shoot it as well. Excellent work there from Wildcard. Now, the X factor for Bliss is that Fisho Guy does have a C4 he could toss on over to not only destroy that shield, but deny the plant. Milo, though, suppresses Oda, and it is so challenging now for Bliss to get back into this. Wildcard are holding so well. Fisho Guy cannot deny that plant, and Wildcard have one of the strongest post-plant positions in the entire of Rainbow Six Siege, now with multiple players on the window repel. And it's so challenging now for Bliss to get back into this. It's only Fisho Guy left, and it leads to a flawless round.
That was just a perfect textbook push with the Osa shield into that top floor. I just love so much how Osa has changed the way that the top floor plays out. Bliss, they had no idea what was hitting them. Oda, he had a Yokai drone there, and he went, guys, I think they're planting. What's going on? We didn't know that. They walked in the bomb site with an Osa shield, and we can't even see past it because Pat has shattered the glass as well. So really well played from Wildcard. They took their time. They utilized all the utility in their arsenal to try and get open that stock wall, make sure they couldn't play in that hallway before they let Pat rappel in onto the balcony, and was able to eventually get the plant down. So huge fan of that push. That was really innovative and very exciting to watch. I really like that.
And credit to Wildcard, they managed to do all of that with time to spare. When they started planting, there were, what, 45, 50 seconds left on that round? And it just gave so much space to Wildcard to, you know, counter every single bit of plants now that Bliss wanted to throw at them. Oh, you got a yokai? That's fine. We'll just bait the plant and shoot your yokai. Oh, you got a C4? That's fine. We'll just shoot your C4. We'll shoot the guy who's trying to throw it. Oh, you're going to try and swing? You're going to try something desperate? That plays into our playbook as well. Wildcard have been in definitive control of this entire series. And the one round that Bliss won was really just a blip on the radar.
Bliss will now try going to staff an open area instead. They won't elect to repeat the top floor, which is fair enough given how that one went. They didn't seem to have a very good idea or grasp of what Wildcard wanted to do, so retrying something a little different, a little more familiar, and this should work out in their favor as well. Beforehand, they were stuck inside Arsenal and I suppose Arsenal, not Arsenal, that is the wrong one, Archives, 2 A's, Archives and Tellers, because it was all verticaled by Cairo, right? So Shade, he had to contest it. This particular bomb site cannot be verticaled, so Cairo won't make use of all of that the skeleton key that he was able to use in the previous round. So Bliss, they will be able to hold on to this top floor for a little bit longer.
They are looking to play quite aggressively. You can see Repix does peel back. They're feeling that pressure from the top square windows. Shade does find the opener. A big kill now with Pat going down. That is the primary hard breach for Wildcard. And Vinny's really feeling that pressure as well. Can eventually trade, but at the cost of a lot of health. It's going to take quite some time for Finker to get those adrenal surges and boost back up to full health.
And with the Thermite gone, that closes up a lot of avenues here for Wildcard. That means you can no longer go for that quad wall execute. You can't get the wall going into the admin office open anymore. So Wildcard, they will have to find another funnel into the bomb site, and it'll probably be through a hatch drop or trying to get some vertical, which is what Cairo's trying to do now. But like we said beforehand, the entire roof of this bomb site is closed off. You cannot vertical this one. So Fisher Guy, Oda, they're completely safe in the bomb site right now. Wildcard, there's just not a lot of options for them anymore.
OJ is going to have to use some of his very limited hard breach to open lines of sight. However, God Legion is on for a flank. He hasn't had a phenomenal series so far. He whiffs his first couple shots and gets 180'd by OJ. Once again, the chips just keep on falling.
Oh no, once again, OJ able to find a very cheeky pick. Beforehand, it was on Shade, popping up from the desk inside of Open. Now it's a flank from Blue. OJ, he's just got the game sense of the gods right now, and Vinny has actually found an into the site as well. Bliss dropping like flies, giving away their life, and Repix now in a 1 versus 3.
He has some decent information, but he's absolutely not going to win that fight. And the LOL God comes out from OJ, just saying a prayer for Bliss, who are now down 3-1 on the second map. And they have not had, they really have not had much luck, have they?
Sad face from God Legion in the all chat. Unfortunately, the blue flank not working out in his favor. Team Bliss, really, they had what they needed to win that round there. They had all the cards on the table. There was no vertical for Cairo to get because that site can't be verticaled. The wall couldn't be opened by Pat, only a line of sight from OJ, but they just gave away their life 1 by 1. Not playing the crossfires on the site, trying to look for flanks, trying to take fights rather than playing together and holding it out to the late round. And that meant that Vinny had all the control he needed once he took down that main stairs player to eventually get into the site and win the round. So Bliss not capitalizing on the man advantage that they had in that round.
Oh, Bliss. Where do we go from here, Mandy? How do they redeem themselves from this position? What can they do?
10 seconds to go.
Because they are so far down, and it just feels like a matter of time before Wildcard find themselves 2 maps up in the series.
Well, I think something that we spoke about on Clubhouse was that Bliss, they weren't very good at dialing it back. Every time that they were playing the defense, they were being cut off by Wildcard, and here we go. Milo makes a very cheeky pick going through dirt. I don't think anyone's holding his entry. There we go. Milo finding the first pick of this basement site. Oh no, that is 1 C4 gone, and that's also your Warden gone. So a lot of your late game utility is gone. But what I was trying to say here is that Bliss, they haven't been very good at dialing back. We saw it in this Clubhouse game. They were constantly getting picked off, but I think this time they've identified that. Instead of trying to go for a roam and play the Vigil and that kind of thing, they've leaned into the Echo. They've leaned into the Tachanka, the Warden, who is now dead as well, and the Malusi to make that push into the site much, much slower. So I like this from Bliss. They're not trying this roam that they tried to do in open anymore. Both hatches reared. I like to see that as well. So Bliss, they seem to have an idea of what's going wrong, and now it's about executing it.
They're definitely doing some good thinking, but unfortunately that thinking is taking some time. They were still doing setup well into the action phase, and that of course gave Milo a chance to take down the Warden. While he was traded, I think that's a fair exchange. Now Shade was picking the Warden to counter the Ying, which of course isn't making an appearance, but there are smokes on the Osa. Oh, there were, before Vinny just got shut down on a nice tight angle from Repix. That is a deep blow. That is a significant disadvantage now for Wildcard.
Wildcard now having to pick up the pieces of this round in a man disadvantage. Pat now starting to take the diffuser over onto server. We'll start to look for a server-centric push while OJ gets open. Both these hatches are open. No anti-hard breach because Kaid... Oh, Kaid is actually up. I was going to say because Kaid is gone. But anyway, these hatches given for free to OJ anyway means that Pat can start making his way down to server, get this wall open, supported by Cairo. Wildcard, although they are a man down, they still technically have just enough if they want to go for a plant.
Bad line of sight there from the Hibana to put extra pressure onto that red wall. Pat's actually going to try and go for this plant on the angle that is not denied by what a lot of these fireballs are going from the Tachanka. How does the plant go down? This Yokai drones, this Tachanka, and yet Bliss cannot deny the plant. Now Wildcard have such an advantage. OJ knows that they are coming for him, and they're going to look to do everything they can to retake. He finds one. He's got the game sense of a madman. Watching on for this flank. Pat is so cautious as well as Repix comes from the top floor. This makes it a 1v1. Cairo against Repix, and time is ticking away. Repix has no choice but to stick that diffuser, and now there is no time left. Even if Cairo was not in it, it wouldn't matter. Wildcard somehow pull another round out of their backside.
That was perfect anti-IGLing there from Wildcard. They saw the setup that Bliss had and they went, okay, they probably think we're going to go for the default plant. If they have the Yokai tucked so far back into the site, they won't even see us go for the plant in that little nook and cranny. Here we go. This is Pat in the little nook of the bomb site looking for a particular plant that the Yokai drone could not see because it was just around the corner into the bomb site. So Wildcard, I'm not sure what it was. That must have been some absolutely fantastic droning, some fantastic late game intel to eventually amount to a perfect plant that exactly counters the setup that they had. Bliss, it felt like they had all the tools that they needed, but not in the right places. And eventually Wildcard able to capitalize that, take the space, that just amount of space that they needed, and eventually win out the round. And like you said, OJ, he's just got the game sense of the gods. He knows exactly where all the Bliss players are going to be on that retake.
On top of that, I think Wildcard are really leveraging their confidence in Cairo. Just as an individual player, the single point of failure for that bomb diffuser plan was Cairo. He had to cover 2 angles where that plant could have been denied just from swinging red. But Wildcard back him in. They know he's one of the most talented up-and-coming players in the region. He is obviously a bit of a rookie. Only joined OCN in Stage 3 last year on the overt roster. And now here he is, cleaning house for this Wildcard team. They know that he lands all his shots, and that's why they put so much stake and confidence into this player.
I just want to double down on your point as well and go on the story of how Wildcard have progressed to be at the state that they are, right? When we first interviewed Vinny, when they won a game, they were saying, okay, we're still a little rough around the edges because we have a lot of people shot calling. Not everyone's on the same page because everyone has their own idea. And Cairo was one of those people that brought ideas and that brought a voice into this particular team. And now he's absolutely fragging out on this team as well. He will start to look for this entry pick onto Repix, now taken down super low. Just 1 HP, a tickle of HP left there for Repix, and he's stuck all on his lonesome inside of Kitchen.
There is a bit of support now. A Legion coming in for the flank, but Cairo has the game sense to finish off what he started, but not enough to take down Shade as well. A good refrag from Bliss, and that is something that they can grasp onto here.
Pat now starting to rotate the diffuser and his hard breach charges onto the breaches of the site, with Milo and Vinny supporting him from the north repels. So Wildcard, although trading 1-for-1, that is not a mission critical operator in their push. Jackal being taken down, that's only your smokes. You don't particularly need that for your execute. OJ now starting to mount some pressure as well onto Stock, getting open the same line of sight that he did last time that they attacked this bomb site. So Wildcard still looking for the same steps as the last time they attacked this, but this time without the Ossa.
And that's a pivotal one, isn't it? Wildcard have a great read. You know, Bliss have brought 3 players with impact grenades ready for that Ossa. You've got Fisho Guy and Shay who still have impacts and are ready to counter that Ossa, which just isn't present. Instead, Wildcard look to be making a play up the main stairs, Vinny, for the trade now. And in goes Wildcard into CEO, Pat and OJ on for the entry, and they are perfect. It's only Oda in a 1 versus 3. Wildcard have full bomb site control, and that diffuser is going down. Does Oda have the info on this plant? Absolutely not. A C4 is an air ball, and now Wildcard can make this a 5-1 half. Bliss yet to find a second round in this entire series as Wildcard continue to cascade and make their way towards a 2-map lead in the series.
Wow, Wildcard, they've just shown us how mature they are, how much they've grown as a team in that particular round. Something that I was just touching on, in fact, was that Wildcard, when we interviewed Vinny, he was saying, Wildcard, they're rough around the edges because we have so many people calling. We're not always on the same page. There are so many ideas being thrown around that we can't dedicate ourselves to one of them. But in this particular series, we see all the Wildcard players getting on page with the exact same idea. One person goes, we're going for kills, guys. We're not planting the bomb. We're going for kills. And all 5 Wildcard players start to flood the site and look for kills. The round before that, Pat goes, all right, I think I found an in into the site, guys. Let's not flood. Just use what we've got right now. Let's go for the plant and just chill. Completely different Wildcard on both rounds. And that just goes to show how many ideas are being bounced around Wildcard. But not just that, how well they are at jumping straight onto those ideas as a team. And that's something that we didn't see from them in the group stage, but we've seen from them now.
You said completely different Wildcard, and that is, I couldn't put it any more perfect. That is exactly what we are seeing, and that's what today has shown us. This is not a Wildcard we have ever seen before, in my opinion. Like, we haven't seen Wildcard play this good, ever. And yeah, like, Bliss aren't necessarily playing at the peak of their performance, but Wildcard absolutely are. This is a Wildcard who are hitting their shots even when they shouldn't. Cairo and OJ can attest to that. This is a Wildcard that is so unbelievably in sync, that has their strategies down pat, that can also counter their strategies mid-map and mid-round to deal with anything that Bliss throws at them. And it is an exciting prospect that they could be once again back at the top of OCE.
Wildcard just have excellent form here, now taking us to the staff room and open bomb site. Looking for a roam here on the top floor. Cairo, he will have to be careful of these upside down Spider-Man repels, but he won't have to be careful if he can just challenge them like that and find the first pick onto Fisher Guy. And I think that's also the diffuser cold on the ground in the middle of lobby.
Could well be.
That's
Cairo.
not too good for Bliss.
Oh, I mean, has anything been good for Bliss? It really does not feel like. They found 1 round in the series so far. Cairo does get shut down. Shade starting to redeem his team. Eventually trading back that initial pick. However, Shade is now the only hard breacher for his team. Repix has been C4'd. Wildcard once again regain the advantage.
Wildcard now falling off onto the site, all 4 players back on safely onto the bomb site, which once again cannot be verticaled. All of these power positions are as they are on the bomb site. There's no way of clearing them from the floor above, which is what Oda has been trying to do with the ITA here on the floor, looking into tellers, trying to cut off any rotates going back into this little box office here. So Wildcard, they're sitting pretty. They're very happy with their man advantage right now, and they'll just wait for the Bliss players to make their next move.
Attackers recovered the bomb diffuser.
God Legion diffuser in tow. An adrenal surge to boot. Now he pushes in, tries to find an angle in through admin office. Reveals his position with the rat-a-tat-tat of the LMG. Bliss can't just rely on finding a pick here, a pick there. They have to step up hugely. Oda's got some info now on the Malusi player of Milo just below him on the main stairs, but Milo knows he doesn't need to push. Oda can scare him off or not. Milo's good for the kill. Now time withers away and there's only 2 players left from Bliss.
Confidence flowing through the veins of the wildcard players. Milo didn't need to contest that, but he does
my
anyway.
God.
And Vinny will contest another that he didn't need to, leaving Shade in the 1 versus 4.
You said it. Confidence is exuberated from these wildcard players. They are having the match of their lives, and they still peak it. It is 6-1 to wildcard, and could it be the most dominant Oceanic Grand Final we have ever seen if wildcard can get it done in 3 maps in the fashion that they have just about done in 2?
Bliss now calling their tactical timeout, going, all right, guys, wildcard, they've got our number right now. We need to figure out something. We need to change up something, pull ourselves back together because wildcard look absolutely on fire today.
Oh, what do you do? What do you say? Down 13 rounds to 1 in the series. I don't believe I've ever seen such a dominant scoreline, let alone in a grand final. Bliss have so much hype behind them. So much energy. So much excitement around what this team is capable of if they can just hack it through another year and make it to APAC South. Last year, this team made a name for themselves, but they also set a standard that they now have to deliver upon, and they failed to do so in relegations. Now they're failing to do so in the OCS.
Bliss, that time we saw player cameras, longer faces that time. Not so happy, not so giggly anymore, trying to figure out what their next step will be to counter wildcard and get themselves back into this series. In my opinion, Dev, I feel like a matter of time right now until wildcard win this match. A 5-round deficit on your attacking half onto Bank seems pretty difficult here for Bliss. It's possible, but very difficult. Wildcard will now actually choose to go straight onto this top floor here, going into the CEO office, and like we said, no castle barricade does mean that Lounge is no longer a power position, and OJ on the Echo with that 1.5x will have to be a little more careful sitting there.
The only way I see Bliss winning OCS is in a 3-map reverse sweep. I just cannot picture it happening here on Bank. This is Wildcard's map pick after all, and one of their best. Next up is Theme Park, and we could be done and dusted in 3 maps if Wildcard can continue their onslaught onto Theme. But if Bliss can bring it back, Theme Park, Border, and Cafe will be required for them to reverse sweep this OCS Grand Final. It happened to them at the end of OCN 2021. Last year, the Chiefs won 3 maps in a row. It all ended on Bank, where Bliss looked like they might be able to redeem themselves after always losing to Chiefs and get it done in a 3-0. Yet, we were wrong. They were too ahead of themselves. And, well, they need to hope that they can pull out what was done to them in that grand final here.
Bliss now starting to mount a lobby-centric attack here onto this top floor, realizing, okay, we're not going to go for these north repels. We're going to try something a little bit different. Put some pressure here onto Milo playing in the canter position, and also onto OJ, who's now stuck inside of Lounge. So Bliss, this is a different approach. We don't normally see teams going for this. Repix is now starting to drone himself in, shaping up for what will eventually be the spiral stairs push. This is the linchpin of the round. If you can get to the top of here, you've got reception control, you've got your in into the site. So Bliss, they will take their sweet time trying to make this entry work for them.
There's information on the Yokais from OJ. We've seen so much Echo use during this grand final. First from Bliss, now from Wildcard. And can they live drone these players on for some kills? That's a great shot from Milo, a long angle through lobby. God Legion looking for that refrag, but Milo has disappeared into the rafters.
Really well played from Wildcard. Now we can see they're actually flipping their setup around. So instead of having their setup face the square push, we've got the shield that now faces the lobby stairs instead. So Bliss, they will have to clear this if they want to make a spiral push. Wildcard, they've got Bliss's number. They fully adapted to the push that Bliss are trying to do. And Milo finding that fall off and a pick as well is well and truly beyond expectation.
Pat at least does find a kill before being traded by his own Claymore. Fortunately, though, for Bliss, they've taken down Kara, not only one of the most dangerous players, but also in a dangerous position. It doesn't matter if Vinny and Milo can step up from the main stairs. God Legion, doing his best James Bond impression, is going to go down for an 8th time. And now Fisho Guy has to clutch the 1 versus 3. Against OJ and Milo, it is not going to happen. Wildcard are 14-1. Across the first 2 maps of the OCS, they are now on series point. If they can take Theme Park, it will be done.
Wildcard showing us exactly why they took us to Bank. They know the ins and the outs of Bank. Even though Bliss, they did something unusual, they did something special, they changed up their push, they tried to throw Wildcard off the rails a little bit. That doesn't settle them. That doesn't throw them off at all. They just flip their setup around. They support each other on the fall off. They know exactly what to do on Bank, and Wildcard just absolutely showing us why they took us to this map. So Bliss now left at an 0-2 deficit. This is going to be a very tough grand final for them to win.
It's been a very, very long time since Wildcard were at their peak. I'm just checking right now. It was the start of 2021 when Diesel left Wildcard and thus began the fall of the most dominant roster that Oceania has ever seen. And now they may well have another championship under their belt with these new roster changes, with this rejuvenated team, this new meta and this new face. They could have what it takes to be the inaugural OCS champions. Not the Knights, not Chiefs, not Bliss, but Wildcard. Just soak that in for a second. Imagine.
Whoa. Soaking the Wildcard vibes right now.
I just cannot believe it's been so long, and here they are, 1 map away from being champions once again, and in what a fashion as well. Bliss have found 1 round. They're going to need to find at least 21 more rounds in order to take this OCS. For Wildcard, it could be done on this next map. That's enough of the cast from me and Mandy. We're going to swap it over to Guz and Xenox, but before that, we've got to have a desk to break down what we just saw, and of course the next map, so don't go anywhere.
Just to see your face in Tokyo. I'm not unhappy, my dear, but nothing is holding me here. They say that I should save my career, but all I wanna do is leave for a year. I feel like I'm lost in the flow, stuck in my routines, I know. Our last trip was ages ago. Ages ago. My heart is on a plane to Tokyo, 1,000 miles away from where I am. I go all the way by bicycle just to see your face in Tokyo. Tokyo.
the sun goes down. Darkness heightened senses, sweeten touch and sound. Minutes turn to hours, you let go and lose count. Living in the moment, float with the current of the ocean. Give me a baseline popping, stuck in my head, no running away. No running away. Sink into the groove, let your body move. You don't need to know the tune, I'll show you the way. I'll show you the way. High on life, cut the brakes, let the night take over. Take a dive, ride the wave, take one more step closer. Go with the flow and follow your heart. Leave your problems at the door, they won't bother you no more. Tonight is the night, there's no better time to start. Take my hand and jump in, I wanna let loose, get up to something. Give me a baseline popping, stuck in my head, no running away. No running, no running away. No running, sink into the groove, let your body move. You don't need to know the tune, I'll show you the way. I'll show you the way. High on life, cut the brakes, let the night take over. Take a dive, ride the wave, take one more step closer. High on life, cut the brakes, let the night take over. Take a dive, ride the wave, take one more step closer.
The series is off to one of the most insane starts I think we have ever witnessed. 14-1 are the round count to wildcard. That's right, it is a clean 2-0 so far. Bliss barely in response. Dev Marta now joins us on the desk. We'd like to thank Blue, obviously, for his contributions up to this point, but what on earth, Dev, is this?
Yeah, look, I don't think we have ever seen a Rainbow Six Grand Final so dominant. And we have seen some pretty damn dominant Grand Finals before. But Wildcard, if they keep this up, if they can, feasibly, this could be a 21-1 final scoreline in the round count of the series. That is very much plausible right now. Wildcard are just non-stop, and they are having a laugh.
Cthulhu, are we going to see Team Bliss bite back? At this point, all signs lead to no.
I mean, look, we already at least see a mild set of improvements from Team Bliss. They started, first map 7-0, now 7-1. I'm assuming
7-2.
Yeah, 7-2 is the result for map 3 here. Yeah, that's basically the only expectation I'm having here, because so far, as much as I hate to say it, Bliss just kind of feel like an OCL team at this point.
Talk about a team firing on all cylinders, Dev. Every single player for Wildcard. I don't think you can put a foot wrong.
No, I just did some quick maths. Is it 37 kills on the Wildcard side to 19 on the Bliss side? That is a pretty significant change. And also across the entire series, so we have 15 rounds so far. Of those 15 rounds, Bliss have only found the opening kills 3 times. 3 times! 1/5 of the total rounds. It is just non-stop for Wildcard. In the entries, in the executes, they never let Bliss get a look in.
No, and I've got a fun fact brought to you by Rob J. Monday. In fact, Liquipedia really is where this fun fact comes from. The 4 games that we have seen Wildcard and Bliss play leading up to this best of 5 over the last year and I guess 3 months, 4 months, there has been a round differential of 13 in favor of Bliss in 2 games. In 2 games, it has completely reverted. They are now equal on the round differential if you just look at the head-to-head. That is absolutely insane to think. All the hard work that Bliss have done leading up to this moment has just been wiped out of the history books. Cthulhu, it's got to change here on Theme Park. Can it change?
Look, it is a possibility for that, and given the fact that we haven't really seen a whole lot, as a matter of fact, I think we haven't seen, period, just any sort of theme park from both of these rosters. It is going to be a bit of a coin flip, but given just the sheer momentum that has been acquired, I'm still going to be putting all my bets towards wildcard.
Dev, I really don't think anyone's going to disagree with him here. Please, can you play the Devil's advocate?
Oh, that was
Look, I think that the chances of me laughing that joke are about the same as the chances of Blizz managing to win theme park, which is pretty much none. I dread to imagine what it would be like to be in the Bliss voice comms right now. Like, how do you come back from that? How do you come back from winning one round across 2 maps in a series where you probably are the favored team? Literally never lost to Wildcard in the 4 times they have played in best of ones in the past. In OCN over the last year, Bliss has won every single time. And now it looks like Wildcard are going to handily just toss Bliss aside in a 3-0, be OCS champions. I honestly can't see any other way. For Bliss to even find one map here, I would be amazed. And if they can find one map, if they can, you know, look 50-50 or even better on this map, then sure, I'd give them a chance at maybe revitalizing and coming back, but I think that this series may well already be over.
Seems doom and gloom here. We don't have a lot of answers for Bliss. I'm sure someone who can give us the answers that we're looking for, someone who has been living Siege for the last 5 years, someone that just honestly has been so tunneled vision on this game, has looked, has done the analysis, have worked hard. Maybe he might be able to give us some insight, and he stands next to Guz.
I lost it. I'm sorry. He got me. He boomed me. He's completely done me. Look, honestly, Guz, clearly he was referring to you because it ain't me. I will say this, though. What a shock to the system. 2-0. Wildcard was watching on the sidelines, and I just honestly couldn't believe my eyes. It wasn't real. It wasn't actually happening, but here we are in our 3rd map of the grand final. What is it, 14 rounds to 1 so far through the first 2 maps. Maybe theme park is where Bliss can get on a different ride.
Well, it's looking like an express ticket for the 3-0 for Wildcard.
Oh.
This has been the most dominant best of 5 we have seen, at least since Six Masters 2020, which is an absolute lifetime ago now. Wildcard took that series in a 3-0, but that included a 1-map advantage, and both of those maps against Okami were very, very close. This is in a whole nother league of its own. Wildcard on top. And as we head to Theme Park, it's a map which has no data for either roster, so very tricky to back Bliss in to start this comeback effort.
Well, I think that they can do it. It's time to Bliss up. It's time to stop not believing. It is time to believe in the pink flower that they're going to turn things around, starting here on Theme Park. This is the time, guys. They were just toying with us. They were just pretending. Jokes. It was just a prank. Now they're going to show up, and they're going to reverse sweep Wildcard. Because as you know, guys, and as you said earlier in our little talent chat, Wildcard, they don't hold leads. Right now, they've got a 2-map lead. Can they hold on to it with both hands?
Hey, to be fair, I think I said that with Wildcard were maybe 2 rounds up on the first map, probably not expecting them to go on triple kills with their opponent, go 7-0. I think at this point, it's not a matter of holding the lead, it's just a matter of staying awake and getting through the game. At this point, Bliss have just completely not even showed up on any level. No one is playing well at all. It's just been across the board. A really disappointing start. Wildcard, though, here on the first round, looking to rub some salt in the wounds. We head to Lab for the first round. Now, not the most outrageous of choices. Arguably, every site here on Theme Park is defendable, but you wouldn't probably expect this to be the first attempted. And, I mean, Wildcard, if they close this round out, well, Bliss, if they're not already on the tilt, probably going to be on it even more so.
7-0 on Clubhouse, 7-1 on Bank, 7-2 on Theme Park. I'm calling it now, but in favor of Bliss, not Wildcard.
Where did you get all this copium from, Jake?
From the Bliss merchandise store. All right, and then we got Border for map 4, Cafe for map 5. 2 of your favorite maps, guys, so I'm sure you're very much cheering and hoping for Bliss to extend this one to a 5-map series, which would be quite some turnaround. Arguably speaking, I'm going to put this to you guys. Going on record, there's no, hindsight. if Bliss win the grand final from this position, is it the best result in Oceanic history? We're not taking into account APAC or anything like that, you know, just a big turnaround from this position. Would you put it up there?
If Bliss win this grand final from this position, I can't even take that question. I'm not even answering that question. That's so ridiculous. I'm not answering. No. That's ridiculous.
I'll go on record. It's happening. This is the start of a montage. Hello and welcome. This is where Bliss brought it back from 2-0 down after a 14-1 map start. Have you heard of the reverse sweep from Team Bliss in the grand final? It starts with Shade going down to OJ.
Minute 45 left on the clock. Shade the first to fall, who again has been having a poor day inside of the server. Oda may be looking to find a trade back, currently just holding flanks as Fisho works up above through initiation in towards Dorms. Not a bad little combo there with the hard breach. Team Bliss still slowly looking to obtain control up above, probably want to work some third in towards the site itself, but Wildcard not really giving much away.
That's it, getting the elimination on to Oda, further compounding the pain of Bliss in this opening round of Theme Park. But, you know, this is going to be significantly defender-sided, guys. I'd say probably a 6-0 to the defenders. So don't be too surprised if we see Wildcard go up 6-0 here on Theme Park. We saw it on Clubhouse as well earlier. You know, this is kind of probably the way we're expecting things to go. Bliss will then bring it back in the second half.
Look, probably wouldn't be surprised at a 6-0 at this point. 5-3 the man count, heading into the final 45 seconds, and once more Wildcard not giving an inch. It's been their approach, their mantra throughout this series. They have just been suffocating Bliss at every single opportunity. Repix desperately trying to find something in response with 30 seconds now remaining, but he is just left peeking all of these angles towards bot Arcado. He does feed him with one. The trade, it's delayed from Molosca. Repix switched on. Manages to get it back to a 3-3.
Get it, Repix. Come on, this is how you begin the comeback. Fisher loses out, but God Legion now finds the kill onto Cairo. Only 12 seconds left. 2 versus 2. God Legion wakes up from his slumber of the first 2 maps and finds 2 big kills. Now forces the 1v1 as well. Gets the plant down. Now just needs to find the kill onto Vincere inside a toilet, and he's got the shield. God Legion to clutch up. Vincere throws the nade into the wall. It's God Legion. Team Bliss find a much-needed round here in this grand final. They go 1-0 up, and they're winning the map of Theme Park.
Huge from Team Bliss. Well played. And ultimately, good for God Legion. Heading into this map, he still had zeros in every column. He had no impact on this series so far. So a big clutch up from him. The LMG aiding, but ultimately pushing nice and deep, getting the plant down. Good composure. Aided by the fact that Vinny missed the impact there, but nonetheless, the confidence to swing wide and secure the final pick. Wildcard left a little bit red-faced. They did decide to go to the off-meta site. Doesn't pay off, and Team Bliss, for the first time in this series, have a lead.
Some of the statistics from Bank for God Legion, 0 and 8. For a 0.00 rating, 0 entry, and 0% cost. And now he has 3 massive kills here on Theme Park to begin the comeback for Team Bliss, looking to create history. Up 1-0. Still a long way to go. Of course, now need to win all 3 of the remaining maps in the grand final, but they can do it. They are certainly capable. Best of 3, scare them, but best of 5s, well, they eat those for breakfast, guys. Don't worry. They'll be making the comeback here and beginning with Theme Park. Wildcard, they look shaken. They look broken off the back of that round.
I guess. Yeah. Wildcard haven't lost many rounds, so they're going to be tested here. Can they recover?
Well, this is the thing, though. It's all about form. And right now, over the last round, we've seen Team Bliss double the amount of rounds that they've got in this grand final series. That is a worrying statistic for Wildcard. They are on the downward trend here on Theme Park. They need to turn things around before it gets out of hand. Team Bliss, a team that will thrive on momentum.
It's just one round, Jake. Like,
but it's 1 round at a time, Guzzler. 1 round at a time. That's all they need to worry about for Team Bliss. Each round is a mini championship in itself. When you think about it, when you really think about it, to get to the ultimate prize, it's 1 round at a time.
If you're gonna do this for the next 7 rounds, I might just walk away. I don't know where you've got this energy from. You must have slept well last night. I don't know. Anyway,
I'm
90
excited
seconds.
because I've seen this story play out before. The comeback of Team Bliss.
Okay. You can
The montages that put on
keep
the YouTubes and the Twitters.
sucking on the copium. It's okay. You'll be alright. You'll be alright. I do have some faith that Bliss can continue this fight though. Little entry here from Shade over towards Cafe, and Wildcard not really contested on a lot of the areas in which they are looking to hold Pat as well, obviously taken low, and he'll be wanting to get those gas babes out eventually. Shade looks to contest the shield over towards top yellow. I think that was caught by a magnet though, and the shield still stands. That's going to make this angle very tricky, and he'll be hoping that the second of these Asher charges will land. Fisher elsewhere though pushes up for Arcade. He has the diffuser in hand, but so many shields still standing for Wildcard to play off.
Adrenal Surge activated. The kills, though, all the way of Wildcard. It's orange in the kill feed. 5 versus 2. 45 seconds remaining in the round. But guess what? Have you heard of the story of God Legion? No, you haven't. It's not available. He gets taken down too. Shade gets 1 onto Pat, but it's too much work surely now. 1 versus 4. Can't get the diffuser either. Moloska watching like a hawk and springs on the unsuspecting victim. Wildcard will take the second round here on Theme Park.
Yeah, Bliss just struggling to clear with a couple of deployable shields there meant that the push was never going to really work out. They had to have been cleared to alleviate some of the pressure over towards that top arcade push. They just simply weren't dealt with, and Wildcard played off them to perfection, looking through the slits, getting that information, and peeking at the correct time to ensure they're able to find those kills. 1-1 now on the scoreline, and Wildcard's going to take us back to lab. Okay.
Yeah, if it, you know, for Wildcard, this is where now they're just feeling too confident, guys, and it's going to backfire. Why are you going back to lab? You lost it out in the first round to the ever-commanding presence of Team Bliss. Far too strong. Yes, it did come down to a 1 versus 1, but they got that plant down. They still had the shield position. God Legion was never going to lose that. And they repeat. Yes, of course, they went bunk daycare in the second round, but already making their way back this early on signifies that Bliss are in their head. 1-1, and Bliss have them right where they want them.
Do they though? Do they really? Maybe they do. Maybe from a certain point of view they do. I personally probably wouldn't want to be 2-0 down, heading into an unknown map, but maybe Bliss do. I don't know. We're not in the comms, we're not in their minds. We don't know for sure, but what I can say for sure is Bliss will need to show some fight once more. This site came down to the 1 versus 1 post last time. God Legion was the one to step up by getting in towards site. And it looks like Bliss are going for a somewhat similar approach. Horizontally, through Talos, through Gong. They'll be looking to get some throwing control, the stairs control, but they'll need to contest the likes of Moloska. He's playing the pulse, using the heartbeat sensor to feed information to the rest of the wild card defense.
Yeah, Bliss can deal with him though. I don't think they're worried about Moloska really at all. They should be able to find this kill shortly. Once they track him down. Yeah, okay, he's got the ping up above. He has the Nitrocell, could throw it, could maybe look to get that early elimination, but I don't think he will. Moloska just doesn't believe in himself, and yeah, and that's why he shouldn't have. He's missed it completely. Whiff from Milo, and at that point, just wasting the roll of the pulse if he can't hit those. And now all he is just basically a sitting drone that can see through walls. Minute 30 left. Bliss in a great position now here in this third round. They took Lab in the opening round. I think they're on the verge of doing so in the third round as well. OJ watching from bunk, but has actually gotten off of this position. He's sensing that Bliss are starting to push in. They're starting to get closer to him, and he is feeling the pressure. He falls off. Back over the stairs, 60 seconds left, and Bliss have done a tremendous job clearing above.
Still have a long way to go though, and there's Milo, the walking drone. Apparently drones can shoot, and it's Shade to fall. still feeding information from down below, and Wildcard allowed to rotate back towards the side and the adjacent hallways. Vinny, though, elects to reaggress. You see Cairo as well holding down the objective. This is going to be tough for Team Bliss. They have 35 seconds to still clear out positions like Throne.
They certainly can, though. And it starts with Vincia. Oda finding that kill, brings it back to a 4 versus 4. Just under 30 seconds left. They don't need the Thatcher anymore. They can just walk straight into sight and hit their shots that they know they're capable of. Maloska should find this kill, and does. That was an easy one for him. Bit of a rat position. Cairo gets the kill onto Repix after Oda did get that next one onto Maloska. He should be able to find a couple more. That's Fisho down. Pat with a quick double. Wildcard will take 2 rounds in a row here on Theme Park. What a turn of events. After Bliss got the opening round and blitzed them, Wildcard, they bounce back in rounds 2 and 3.
Well played there by Wildcard. They didn't allow that pressure in towards the objective this time. Instead, wasted a lot over towards the Throne Armory extension, as well as up above. Milo was feeding a lot of information on those players. So Wildcard with a much better read on that defensive effort, and Bliss unable to, I wouldn't say cheese their way into sight, but unable to, I guess, wriggle their way in towards the objective like they did last time. Now, on the topic of Throne and Armory, that's where we're going to see round 4 take place. Wildcard finding this objective to be their next preference. Now, Thatcher is available and has been selected. You'll frequently see this site a lot weaker when Thatcher is available. We may see the defense lean into impacts from Pat, for example, to try and deny some of the hard breach, but more likely we're going to see aggressive roams, right? Up above, try to deny the entries, make it very difficult to get the walls open for free.
10 seconds to insertion. 5 seconds left before insertion. Reinforcing the wall! Attacker's objective is to locate a bomb and defuse it.
So Wildcard take their first lead here on Theme Park. They are used to leading from the front, guys, in this grand final. They have not had to deal with adversity. So provided that Team Bliss can win this 4th round, 2-2 scoreline, puts Wildcard on the back foot. They'll feel that pressure. So Bliss have them right where they want them. This next round, ever important for Team Bliss. Cairo, what an opening kill onto Fisher Guy on the rappel. And that's the Thermite eliminated. No hard breach available. But it just means that Bliss can now change their approach and how they want to attack this
You need to stop. You need to stop. This is getting ridiculous. Wildcard are under no pressure whatsoever. They're not even they're negative pressure at the moment. I don't even know what you would describe it as. There's no pressure whatsoever. And we're seeing it the way they're extending, the way they're aggressing. I don't know what brand of copium you're on, like I said earlier, but it is very...
It's a great brand, mate. You should
it's
get
potent. It's strong. And Maloska doubles down on to God Legion. Bliss, 2 players down. Wildcard, they fall back. And it's been a perfect start for the defense.
Can I just say, though, guys, breaking the 4th wall for a minute, Chapo's had some very inspirational quotes in chat, and I think Team Bliss could really take a time out and read the majority of them. None better than never forget that a glow stick must break before it glows. Without darkness, stars could never shine. These are some absolutely top-notch stuff. Well done, Chapo. That's a double thumbs up, gold star for you, mate. A+ on the homework. You can't go back and change the beginning, but you can start where you are and change the ending. Oda, can he do just that now in a 1 versus 4? No. Cairo, headshot, shut down. Wildcard 3 rounds in a row on Theme Park, running away with things on this joyous ride.
Things seem to be going from bad to worse for Team Bliss. And they elect to call it.
I don't know if you've seen the Dev Marta match tracker, but he's actually just filled it all in. He's leaked the script to me. It's just all Wildcard.
Shh. Oh, I thought it was going to be all Bliss.
7-1. Oh, jeez.
Well, you just
I thought it's supposed to be 7-2.
You just spoiled it for me, and you just spoiled it for everybody
Oh, sorry.
watching.
Well, tactical timeout for Team Bliss. Sorry, guys, just wanted to point out that Repix is having a nose issue. You can see he had to give that a quick little scratch. So it's nothing. They're not stressed. They're not upset. He just had to, give the nose. Yeah, look, he's going in now as well for a bit of a cheek swipe. These things happen. You've just got to make sure you're staying on top of your game here. So, look, they're fine. They're not stressing out. They're going to bounce back.
I will say, I don't know how much of the play games we've seen from Bliss just due to the nature of them not winning many rounds, but from what we have seen, it hasn't looked like super overly negative. I've certainly seen much more negative body language from teams that are even winning games, so look, credit where credit's due for that. At least what we're seeing, it doesn't look to be like they're absolutely at each other's throats and tilted off the face of the earth, which obviously would be very, very easy in this game. I mean, they've had an absolute stinker, so maybe they're just happy now from this point onwards to sit back, just see what they can do, try to have some fun in this game. Keep in mind, just by qualifying, they've already made $3,000, so there's at least that going for them. And there is still a possibility. If they get a 2-4 half, well, we start to get a little excited for them, but again, from what we've seen outside of the first round, it's been kind of the same from what we've seen in the series so far.
I disagree with you entirely. I think we've seen a different Bliss here on Theme Park. We saw that with the opening round, and their ability to find a couple of kills, get themselves into good positions, fight on site as well, and just generally get around win. I mean, how many times can you say that they've been able to do that in this series?
How many times have you seen Lab defended?
You know, once?
I've seen it twice today, and it was once that they won it. I don't think I've ever seen it outside of that.
I think you've just got to believe, Guz. You can't be negative.
I'm trying. I really am trying.
Must
But it's
find
very difficult to
an
find
ounce
the
of
positives
positivity.
here.
No, you've
It's
got to find
very
it.
hard.
You've got to find it. You've got to
Show me the map.
hype.
Show me the map and point it out to me.
What, point on the map where it hurt you?
Where the hope is.
There's hope everywhere. Even in darkness. You just got to search within yourself to find it.
Gotta find the glow
That's
sticks.
what Team Bliss need to do. Break out the glow sticks and let them glow. Be the glow stick right now for Team Bliss. You're broken, you're bent in all sorts of shapes and sizes, but now it's your time to glow in the darkness, to shine and bliss up.
Cairo. Oh, the timing! The drone from behind, the shots to follow, but he still survives that reinforcement. And the half-fall offering protection. Wildcard been doing a good job so far in preventing map entry, which is sometimes quite tricky actually on Theme Park, so credit for them for doing that. But then they're also super disciplined in just falling off. Look, no one's on this half of the map anymore. 5 seconds ago, Cairo was contesting, but he is now long gone, and Team Bliss will now take another 15-20 seconds to drone this out.
That's fine, Team Bliss, though. Look at that. They've been able to clear the map out, find positives where you can, Guz. So now, yes, they take a little bit more time to drone out these positions, but it's theirs. There's no one from Wildcard defending that area of the map. Positional advantage for Team Bliss. Just over 60 seconds remaining, so good timing as well for Team Bliss.
60 seconds now remains, and it's a 5-5. One of the better positions outside of possibly the first that Bliss have found themselves in. Still need to start working initiation wall though. Molosca on the Bandit, looking to trick the wall. Can he make this work? Bandit tricking, especially being able to place 2 bats on the same wall now, is quite viable. Will he be able to pull it off? I don't think Shade has any EMPs left. That was his last. That was his last, and perfectly played by Molosca. And there we go, the run outs in Shu and Wildcard with the advantage.
Yeah, but Ratpix is now 4-4 and found a big kill in this round. Brings it back to a 2 versus 4 now for Team Bliss. 20 seconds left. Fisher Guy just walks into side, finds the kill. Ratpix with the down onto Cairo. There's one in front of him. It's Vencia though with the double kill. 1-2 punch for Vinny. And Wildcard continue to just slaughter Team Bliss.
Well played there by Vinny. A swift little 2K when things got a little bit dicey for the defense. Molosca doing a good job in denying the wall, but then pressure elsewhere in response from the attack. Team Bliss, though, just not with quite enough time and certainly not enough information to make that work. 4-1 now, the scoreline. And this next round, jokes aside,
massive.
Must win for Bliss. If
It's
they
massive.
don't win this, it's over.
Yeah,
It is 100%
I would agree.
over.
But I think this is where Team Bliss want Wildcard right now. You win this round, and suddenly it's only 2-4. You're going into the second half. You're then going to be on the defense of Theme Park. That's really where you want to be. And so if you find this round, you can actually take momentum going into the second half.
That's certainly one way of looking at it.
The
can't
Wildcard need to
can't
be
argue with
prepared,
you.
Gus. They cannot rest on their laurels.
Well, Wildcard have gone back to lab, so they've actually left themselves a little bit vulnerable here. I mean, maybe I'm actually being a little bit too critical of the site. Perhaps with Thatcher being available, it's actually decent. I don't know, but just based on what we've seen on the map globally, it really doesn't see a whole lot of playtime, and when it doesn't tend to be overly successful in balanced games. So, I don't know. Wildcard just limit testing a bit here. See if they can get up at 5-1. It's half.
Such an important round. You can feel just the tense nature of this round, feeling the nostrils of these players inside of Theme Park. Who's going to come out on top in an ever important round 6 of map 3 of the Oceanic Championship Series Grand Final between Wildcard and Team Bliss. Is it time to Bliss up or Bliss down? We'll find out soon.
Good denial over towards the thrown wall from Wildcard, preventing those X-Kairos from detonating and creating lines of sight or points of entry. Shade looks to capitalize now over towards the doorway. Gone 6 to try and deal with the Banshee, but it gets caught by a Magnet. Unfortunate there. And
No,
Vinny,
Shade!
very snappy. Shade 1 and 6. It's been an absolute disaster for him today.
But it just sets the narrative. It sets the storyline for Team Bliss now. Down a player. 90 seconds left. They can find an avenue forward now on Lab Storage. It's a site that they've won before. So yes, you've lost Shade, but he's only the Yana anyway. You've still got your Hard Breach. You've still got the Finker. Rapix is still alive. He's fragging out this game. God Legion, of course, had that big clutch in the opening round on Lab as well. Don't forget that. He's capable of it. He starts there with the shot onto Cairo, puts a few bullets into his shoulder, sends him back to top yellow stairs. 60 seconds left. Still, 5 versus 4 for Wildcard.
Cairo probably in the key position here for Wildcard. If he does fall, Bliss might have an opening, but Cairo's looking hungry, looking for more, and he has information being fed to him live from Molosca. That's his cue to rotate as the bottom of the staircase is no longer being watched, and Bliss stalled out once more. Thrown Armory, not even the objective, proving to be tricky to clear.
And there's God Legion once again on his site of choice. He goes bang with a quick double. Molosca falls without even realizing what hit him. And now Bliss have the advantage, but not for long. OJ finds the kill back the other way. But it's Fisher guy, the old guy, the veteran. Vincier looking to spoil the party. But guess what? The dynamic duo of Oda and Rapix brings out the round on Lab once again for Team Bliss. It's a 4-2 half. What a turnaround we are seeing here on Theme Park.
They keep the dream alive. 4-2. Not the worst of results for them. Wildcard maintain their lead, but Bliss in hot pursuit. Not a bad way to close out the round as well, and it's good to see that duo at least in action, at least in one round. Oda Repix, we know they can really turn it up when required, and that's a good little round from them. Still a long way to go though. Wildcard with the advantage.
I would disagree. 4-2 half, Theme Park, defend decided. I'd say par for the course is probably the better phrase that you could use there, Guz, right? So Team Bliss right now. And look, Pat's calling for a rehost. They're scared. They're shaken. Game crash. Oh, it's all lies. They look to delay the inevitable. They understand what's happening. They're on the wrong side of history, but history that has yet to be made. It's a tech pause for Wildcard, knowing that Bliss have all the momentum going into the second half, and they look shook, shaken, and distraught.
I think they just want this to be over.
Is there coming back for Wildcard, Guns?
Coming back for Wildcard.
Do you see a way back for them now? They've just lost the last round on Lab. It's a 2-4 half. You know, Bliss are on the defense. I don't know. I think Bliss are in a great position to take Theme Park and send us to a 4th map.
I guess Wildcard can come back from this. I don't know what they're coming back from, but sure. Yeah. I don't see any reason why they can't just close this out pretty confidently. Again, we haven't seen Wildcard attack this map ever, so...
Oh no. Oh no, I see a screen in the background. Don't zoom in! Prod, do not zoom in! Repeat, do not zoom in!
Right, there's no ping here, so that's okay.
Oh, okay.
We don't have to worry about it.
Sorry, PTSD, mate. PTSD. You know how it is. Just been there before. I don't want to be crushed again, guys. Caro, he looks mentally distraught, though. It's been a tiring series. And now, with Bliss back in the series, can he keep this up? Can they keep going? I'm not so sure. And you know what? What's even worse, he's out of water. Out of water, out of chances. Vincia, you know, if they lose this grand final, arguably should retire and join the analyst desk where he belongs.
It's funny you say that. I did actually try to recruit Vinny the other week, and I was told that he was busy preparing. So I guess he has prepared pretty well for this game. Maybe I did curse him by sending him a message saying maybe don't retire after the second map, and kind of been a little bit downhill since then. I wouldn't be too stressed. I'm not a Bliss fanboy like you, Xenox. I can see through the lies.
Oh,
I can see through the facade.
only a Wildcard fan would deal in absolutes.
You were my co-caster, Xenox. I loved you.
Is this what it's...
From my point of view, Bliss are evil.
Oh yeah, where'd you get that one from?
Star Trek.
Look, bringing it back. A little bit of seriousness now, of course, guys. You know, keeping it on track. On theme, if you will, for our third map of Theme Park. A great first half from Bliss. Some of the statistical numbers, they've been able to increase their round win percentage by 200% here in the grand final. That is staggering. Wildcard leaking rounds to Team Bliss. They need to respond in this second half.
Well, we're back into the action. Armory thrown. 2-4, the score line. Arguably Team Bliss hitting the pass mark. Wildcard going lab a couple times, which was intriguing, but it is what it is. We'll see now if Bliss can actually mount a bit of a comeback here on the defense.
Team Bliss are ready to go. Straight over to Throne Armory to kickstart this second half of the third map of the grand final. And with that rehost, of course, they clear their little KDAs. We don't need to see Shade at 1 and 5. Everyone gets a fresh start, fresh hope. And we'll see how Team Bliss can cope.
10 seconds to insertion. 5 seconds to insertion. Attackers must load.
Mute Muzzy combo in play for this round. So it looks like Bliss are wanting to lean into a bit of a roam here, tried to deny some of the entry information from the attack. Which Wildcard still have 10 drones standing.
You know what the best thing about reverse sweeps, guys, is every single reverse sweep, there was always someone that was thinking it was going to be a 3-0. There was always someone that didn't have the hope and the belief. No one ever believes in the reverse sweep, and yet they happen anyway.
I'll tell you what, I don't believe in it.
Well, that's on you.
I believe in this reverse sweep as about as much as I believe in Santa.
So you believe it's going to happen?
I don't believe in Santa.
I don't know how you cannot believe in Santa.
I believe you look a bit like Santa, but I don't believe in Santa.
Well, I think that's a lie. We both know Rob is the Santa of the group.
That is true.
You put a beard on him and a hat and a ho ho ho.
He is quite the jolly man.
That's good from you.
Well, not really much happening so far in this round. Wildcard just looking to get control over towards Cash, couple of drones, couple of entries, nothing all too crazy. OJ, though, looking down below alongside Vincere. They might be looking to maybe work the wall nice and early. They do have Thatcher, they do have Thermite. That's the kind of combo you would expect on this site if both are available, and that's looking like the play here.
Oh, perfectly played. Cairo is a magician. Weaving his magic spells with the EMP grenades to help open up that wall alongside Pat and the exothermic charge. Now the little drone makes its way in. OJ with the adrenal surge can now go for a little peek, a little look-see, and see what he can find. 60 seconds left in this round. Now thrown over to the other reinforced wall. Maybe clear it out. Maybe see if they want to open that one up. Don't think it's going to happen, though, now with so little time. And Pat being on this side, on maintenance. That's a flash that gets thrown in. In fact, he's just able to walk straight into throne. He will plant right on top of the mute chamber. Where's Team Blizz? Where are they, guys? I can't find them. They're all dead, but they're not on site. This is a catastrophe. And OJ watching for Shade to push in, who did get the Nitrocell, but it's too late. Round is lost. All is not forgiven unless Repix brings back one of the biggest rounds of all time. Big double kill for Repix. Can he get the third almost? Nitrocell too late, delayed, and not quick enough to get thrown out. He picks it back up. 20 seconds on the clock. Throws it out again, but I don't think it'll hit the mark. Vincere, OJ, they can play for time. Not much time, though. Repix can't salvage it, can't get it done. For Team Blizz, it's Wildcard who take this one to start the second half, but almost, just almost, a masterpiece from Repix.
Well, that's what tends to happen when you let the planter walk into sight. You let the planter plant without denying it, and then you also don't hold on in the post. Well done there by Wildcard. They open up the wall, they run in, and they stick it down. Doesn't get much more simple than that, really. 5-2, the scoreline. Bliss. Well, if there was any momentum, Jake, if there was any hope left,
oh, I'm running low.
It's withering away. It is a critical.
My tank is running low, guys. I've got to get a new bottle of copium.
Gotta get the juice.
I did say at the start of this game, though, 7-0, 7-1, 7-2. It's looking that way. But it's just not for the team I thought would have 7 next to their name. I thought it would be a Team Bliss 7-2. And I am befuddled, bamboozled, and completely shook, shaken, and confused as to how this has transpired. Wildcard seemingly on top out of nowhere. And now just 2 rounds away from taking out the grand final. It's critical overload now. Team Bliss must respond.
You know who I feel really bad for right now? The Knights. Could you imagine them sitting back and seeing this and going, wow, why did we get the hard half of the bracket? Obviously losing the match against Wildcard to miss out on the grand final. Could have been quite intriguing if we saw those two go at it in the BO5, but obviously not meant to be. That's the nature of the tournament, so no fault of that. Simply, Knights just went up to par yesterday. Again, would be a little bit disappointed seeing his results. Anyway, head into round 8 though. Sadness aside, Cairo looking for an entry over towards Cash contested in the bathroom, but that play will fall back over towards Vault, and Cairo's just going to take that as a cue to push straight on in. Don't know if this is facilitated by information, but nonetheless a scary sight for Bliss.
It's certainly terrifying. Something you wouldn't even find in your wildest of dreams. Team Bliss cannot even think to imagine how they've found themselves deep in this hole. A hole that in some ways they've dug themselves, but maybe they can dig their way out of. Just yet still time. Shay with a big headshot onto Cairo. Starting to lose confidence. Now just 1 and 2 since the roost. The young prodigy, the young superstar falling at the seams. Needing the old heads of Vincere and Milo to carry him home. And maybe Team Bliss could be the roadblock from allowing Wildcard safe passage to that grand final trophy.
Wildcard now in towards initiation. The extension forfeited by Team Bliss. The EMPs to follow. The sun was from Pat. the wall now will be opened at a minimum a line of sight. They're looking to play off that shield, it looks like, and Vinny capitalizes. A swift pick onto Shade, opening the round back up for the attack.
Just under a minute remaining. 4 versus 4. Vinny taking a shot to the shoulder. He survives. It's fine. It's just a flesh wound. Nade from Vincent. Now 3-0. It's a renaissance of sorts for him. Turning back the clock like the old days, like the old wildcard. He leads from the front, though, this time. Not in the shadows of the likes of Diesel. Nice ping with the drone, but Pat loses that drone. Was it worth it? I'm not so sure, but they have the player caught. Milo pushes on the Nork, but it's straight into the web of Repix. Advantage Team Bliss.
OJ unable to trade. Can't get that line of sight. Will be forced for the vault and to try and push Vinny to pinch as well alongside Cafe, but it's Oda ready and waiting for the double. Now it's OJ in the 1v3 effectively as Repix was down. He vaults forward, but with time ticking down, this will be a Bliss round, and it is Bliss with the first defensive round win.
Yeah, and a little bit disappointing there from Team Bliss. I thought the 7-2 would be on. They get the third round. It does kind of ruin the facade of the 7-0, 7-1, 7-2. So for the first time in this series, somewhat disappointed. But I guess if they are to get this reverse sweep in the grand final, they do have to get that third round at some point. So, full play credit. I understand. I don't hold any grudges. We move forward, though, now 3-5. Back in this one here on Theme Park. 2-map advantage and a 2-round advantage for Wildcard. You said before, guys, Wildcard, they don't hold on to leads. Well, this one is now starting to slip out of their grasp. The comeback for Team Bliss is on overcharge.
Last round you were saying there was no fuel left, and now you're saying they're on overcharge.
Well,
what?
They went to the gas station, they filled up. I don't know how. I don't know the semantics
fuel is
of
really,
it. I don't know the semantics.
Fuel is really expensive at the moment.
It
I don't
is,
think
but
it's
I
in the
don't know
budget.
if you've seen Bliss headquarters, guys, okay? But they've got a yacht. They have
They
money.
are.
They have a
They
lot
are.
of money. They
They
can
are
afford
pretty-
a little bit of fuel to get past the little old wild card.
They are pretty loaded.
Stack the deck. Bliss
Well,
up, baby.
if they do finish, they earn an extra 4K. So I guess that covers at least half the fuel.
Half the fuel, mate. That's all of the fuel. Have you seen prices these days?
I don't really leave the house much, so no, I actually
Well,
haven't.
thank you for being completely honest and transparent, but no one really cared.
Okay. Thanks.
What we do
Jake.
care about, though, is this grand final. Stay on point, Guz. Keep it focused. Keep the hype flowing. 3-5 scoreline for those that have just maybe tuned in the last couple of rounds or so and have seen this tight contest on Theme Park. It wasn't all that way on the first 2 maps. No, no, no. It was 14-1 on the first 2 maps in favor of Wildcard. Shocking, staggering. No one thought that to be the case coming into the day today. But Team Bliss are starting to emerge and find the inner confidence that they need to complete the reverse sweep.
It would take back to back to back maps for Bliss.
It's possible. It's happening.
Not off to a bad start. The diffuser on the deck. Shade with a drone as well, caught by the Mozzie Pest. Maybe things genuinely do start to get a little bit intriguing here on Theme.
It's been intriguing from the first round, Gus, when Bliss burst down that door of lab storage and took the opening round and made their intent known for everyone to see. Cairo can't hit that shot, but he can on that one. Does lose a lot of his life, but he does get the 2 kills for it. So he gets a pretty even little trade in the end as Oda does find the kill onto Cairo. It's now 3 versus 3. Still very winnable here for Team Bliss on the defense. Milo over towards Dragon, and then OJ pushes forward on the Thatcher. No more EMP grenades. That's fine. He'll just go to the back of Throne. Maybe go for that plant of the diffuser. 50 seconds left on site. Where's Team Bliss? Where's this defense, Guz?
Oh, we'll get a look at the
I
overhead.
got the wrong site. It's lab storage. And Wildcard's got the wrong site too. Both bamboozled by Team Bliss. Magicians.
They're just getting control thrown across. It's
They
not.
don't know.
It's not that unprecedented. We did see that in the past, Jake. So don't get too excited. But we do need to see the conversion in towards the objective. OJ, Diffuser outside of bathroom.
No time.
Vinny and Milo will look to push elsewhere.
There's no time. There's only 20 seconds left. OJ's got no chance. Has to go straight into the Soyoke. Into toilet. Not even on site yet. They know where he's coming from. Vincia now pushes into lab, but he dies. He meets his maker of God Legion. The God himself. Only Maloska left in the 1 versus 2. Red time, no chance. Oda with a quick double. 4-5, Team Bliss are making it happen here on Theme Park.
Yeah, well done there by Team Bliss. Genuinely, actually a pretty clean round. They did a good job, I think, installing out Throne, and that was manifested really by Shade, who did get the opening pick. He clearly had good information as well with the drone that he had captured. So that was well played by him. Now we go back to Throne, though. Last time, this was an absolute disaster from Bliss. Probably one of the worst defenses we've seen all game, which has something to be said for itself. They literally allowed Wildcard to walk straight in and get the plant down with absolutely no one opposing. So let's see if they could tidy it up here. Interestingly enough, OJ picking Amara off the bat, maybe indicating a quick entry up above.
To throw. The need to get off of the Amara right now. OJ not confident enough to play that. Nah, not happening. It's going to be 5-5 Team Bliss. Wildcard are in disarray. Complete disarray. Heading into this 10th round. It is now the Team Bliss onslaught. They've won 3 of the last 4 rounds, guys. You know what we call that? A winning streak. Momentum. It's Team Bliss, baby, right now on Theme Park. And this is what legends are made of, where comebacks start. And Team Bliss will look to finish that comeback, of course, on the final map of Cafe to close out the reverse sweep. It's a long way to go, but you know that they're certainly capable. They're ready to run that marathon here in the grand final. Wildcard need to win this round. It's a must win, and OJ gets the headshot onto God Legion. The perfect start for Wildcard to keep Team Bliss at bay.
Yeah, don't know exactly how that pick was found. I can only assume it was a spawn pick from God Legion. I don't think OJ actually stepped foot inside. Maybe he did.
No, he didn't. He was still outside.
Must have been on the rappel then? I don't know. Either way, good opening pick, God Legion. Struggling in that one. Now with 2 minutes to go, Wildcard will look to lean into this advantage. You can see they're just taking their time. A couple of players droning ahead. 3 in fact, and that leaves Milo and Vinny on the entry.
Just under 2 minutes remaining. It's advantage for Wildcard in this round, but it feels like it's advantage for Bliss in this map. Who will pull out ahead? Yes, God Legion is down, but so far it's been the Repix and Oda show for Team Bliss, and they're both still alive. Cheeky little angle, top yellow stairs here for Repix on the little catwalk. Roaming around, maybe spotted by Cairo, hunted down! Cairo gives Wildcard a 2-player lead here in the 10th round. Off the back of the momentum being built by Team Bliss, Wildcard are responding.
5-3. A formality from this point onwards. What will Wildcard shape up for? They have so many different options available to them. It looks like maybe a yellow wall.
Shade. Where did he find that? That's massive. That's the Thermite eliminated. That's the hard breach down. And Diffuser as well. Still upstairs. Just under a minute left. Suddenly brings it back for Team Bliss when they needed him most. Shade steps out of the shadow of Oda and Repix. Repix, of course, is dead this round, but Oda's still alive, and you've got the old head official guy with 1 more gas babe available, and it forces Cairo to retrieve said Diffuser. That was dropped once before. Oda inside a toilet. He finds this kill. OJ, no, he somehow survives. I can't believe he's missed that. Was it hit reg? Surely. There's no way Oda misses those shots.
Maybe that's the reason Bliss are losing this game. It's all the hit regs. Vinny just dunks on his opponent, Oda, in the 1v4.
Oda wins these, though. He got OJ low. Probably should have got the kill. He was robbed. Need to see the replay. He can't win that one, though. What's going on here? Wildcard have match point, and they have grand final point.
7k point as well. That's how much they'll be pocketing if they're able to convert this round, convert the map, convert the series. It has been quite close, especially compared to the rest of the series, but Wildcard again just catching so many members off guard, and that has been the story of this match. There have been so many kills we've seen from wildcard POVs where Bliss have just been, I don't know if sleeping is the kindest way to put it, but just not aware of what's going on. Good little push towards the end. Credit to Shade, obviously, from Bliss. It was a great Nitro to make things uncomfortable for wildcard, but the attack able to adapt, able to convert.
But this is where dreams are made of. Down 2 match points, Team Bliss, you bring it back, you send it to overtime. Maybe there's a chance for them to keep this series alive. Wildcard, they don't hold leads. We know of the history of the wildcard choke guards. You've said it before countless times. You'd like to bring it up wherever possible. This is that moment. Can they break through? Can they deal with the choke and find victory?
Attackers must locate and defuse a bomb.
Well, I tell you what, it would be one hell of a choke if they lost it. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say. Don't think that's probably on the cards. Maybe this map. I mean, Bliss, well, it truly could push OT, but I think the series is a whole bit of finality from this point. Let's see, though, can Bliss continue to fight? They've actually had a couple of decent rounds on the defense, so again, wouldn't put it past them to actually still push an OT. Moloska down below on the Nook, looking to enter. And this has been one of the threats of Bliss, not being aware of surroundings and being caught off guard. Nook, the perfect operator to try and exploit that.
Let's see it, 5-2, having a tremendous game here on Theme Park. Same with Cairo. Milo on the Nook, looking to make a big play to send Wildcard into the championship throne, where no one can take them down. Can Team Bliss, though, keep them from ascending to the throne for a bit longer? Shade gets caught by Cairo, the young prodigy, the young star of Wildcard. The new age wildcard looking like the old age wildcard for a brief moment here, but maybe they could end up being better. A championship team now just a few kills away from being crowned champions of OCE.
Been a long time between drinks for Wildcard. Their last championship 526 days ago, the November Major. Such a long time, such a long grind, so many roster changes, so many ups and downs, more downs than ups, to be honest.
Toxic.
There was 60 seconds to go on the man advantage. They are only seconds away from potentially being crowned the champs once more.
We are just mere seconds away now from history being created. Wildcard on the edge of glory. Cairo takes down the Banshee, blocking his path, but now no longer. Milo, one last little sweep through toilets. If have a bit of information, voice crack here for the big moment. Nade doesn't land though, but it's the onslaught that's about to happen for Team Bliss. 4 versus 3 as Repix finds the kill onto Cairo. He won't be standing when they receive their crown. God Legion do much damage onto him and falls permanently into the grave unless Repix has one last big play to stop Wildcard. It's not happening. Wildcard are champions of OCE once again. It's been 2 long years, but they sit on the throne as the kings of OCE.
Well done, Wildcard. The most dominant best of 5 we have had in recent memory. Wow. I mean, I don't really know what to say at this point. Wildcard just absolutely dominant throughout the entire match. The fact that 7-4 was the closest result, well, it speaks for itself, really. And Wildcard doing a fantastic job in doing so. They pocket $7,000 over a weekend. Not too bad at all. And the inaugural crown of the OCS.
Since 2020, since 6 Masters was the last time Wildcard were the champions. It was a different iteration of Wildcard, but still They're champions once again, Guz. They are the best team in OCE as per the Oceanic Championship Series. They're number one, numero uno. Doesn't matter how you want to say it. They're the best. Aren't they, Guz? Say it.
They're the best.
They're the best
As per
around.
OCS.
And they're never going to keep you down.
I guess. Am I meant to go with that? I don't really know.
Sorry, you're a
where
bit too
going.
young for that. You're a
Yeah.
little bit too young for that one. I'll give you a pass. But hey,
Thanks.
big result for Wildcard 3-0. Honestly, congratulations to them. Played out of their skin. All things considered, that was a really good series from them. They played amazing, guys. I want your final thoughts, your final bit of analytical thoughts on them from this grand final.
Well, I think this series goes to prove that Wildcard, when they are switched on, when they're feeling confident, when they're feeling themselves, they are actually a very deadly team. Of course, Bliss, they didn't play at their best. We're not going to shy away from that. But Wildcard, on the flip side, also played excellently and were consistent throughout the entire series. They got out of the gates really strong by taking their opponent's map pick, and they just didn't stop from there. So really awesome for Wildcard. And now we look at them to now step up to the next level. Can they perform in Stage 2? Can they step up in APAC South?
For now, though, they step up to the throne where they await the crown that will be placed upon their head, and we go over to the desk where they can break down that grand final series. Thank you all for tuning in. Enjoy the fellas on the desk.
You know what, Xenox, I gotta say, I am so grateful that Guz has someone beside him who understands the game, who lives and breathes it, and obviously just sees it on a much greater playing field. Dev, what a performance that is. Finally on top.
What a series. It's been a long time for Bliss. I mean, they really deserve this. I'm just so happy. They are my mates.
Dev,
Sorry.
wrong team. Bliss down, not Bliss up.
Wrong multiverse.
So Wildcard are the victors, OCS champions at last. Cthulhu, this has been a long time coming.
Oh yeah, look, 2 years of all that development, 2 years of just absolutely one of the bumpiest roads in, I would argue to even say, OC in general. And Wildcard, yeah, finally that refreshed roster finally shows the embers and the fire of the old days. And look, absolutely stunning performance. Genuinely, look, I've said back on the second channel yesterday that whoever wins out the whole matchup between the Knights and the Wildcard will be the one to take the victory in the grand finals. But after all of that, I did not expect Wildcard to come out swinging the way how they did today.
It's actually like quite reminiscent, Dev, of a time gone past. Wildcard truly are the best that OCE could have to offer. Is this the turning of their storyline?
Oh, I mean, it's finally breaking through. That's something that Wildcard have not been able to do for 2 years. And look, thinking back, it's only OJ and Vinny, or sorry, rather Pat and Vinny, who remain from that roster that was so dominant within the Oceanic region and won just about everything there was to win. And now, you know, 3 roster changes later, after all this turmoil, after nearly being relegated from both OCN and APAC South, this is just a fantastic hallmark. It's a first trophy for 3 of the players on this roster, and it is a breath of fresh air for a wild card that has been a shadow of their former selves, and I think has finally truly stepped out of that shadow. No longer will we compare this roster to the wild card of old. No longer are they, you know, the diesel-less team. They are a new wild card, and they are champions today.
They certainly are. It's time to talk to the champion himself, Vince, here on the other end of the line. Vinny, mate, an incredible performance from you. I've got to admit, I think top frag nearly the entire bracket. I don't know how you do it. How are you feeling after that? I mean, that has to feel good after just such a long time without.
Yeah, I mean, we're stoked with that result. It was, yeah, as people have been saying, a long time coming. I think we've worked hard, but haven't really had the results as over the last almost 2 years now. But yeah, it's really awesome to see us get a good result, and especially be consistent over a longer series, which is something we definitely needed to work on.
Look, I'm not going to say that anyone would have doubted that you guys would win this grand final, but I think nobody expected you to win it so dominantly. 7-0, 7-1. done it, was at 7-4 on the final map. It was the most dominant grand final I think I've ever seen. What happened? Like, how? Why? How did you manage it?
I don't know. Honestly, like it wasn't like we came into this match like really prepped for Bliss. We knew that they were a strong team and that if they came out and played their best game, then they'd be a strong opponent. But I think, I don't know, today seemed like they were a bit off. And we were just, I don't know, super confident, kind of really ironing out the kinks recently of what's been stopping us, which has been the way that we communicate under pressure and, the way that we work with each other, which has been really important, especially in these long series where teams are avoiding each other. And, like when there's 5 maps, we've seen each other play these maps over and over again. So it's just about being adaptive, and I think we were just more adapted today than they were.
Fair enough. Well, I mean, speaking of adaptation, I mean, yesterday you had, when you were battling against Knights, you had the support of Tilt as well in the background. Today was also Luna. How much did it help with, all the supply drops and all of the cheering from the backlines as well?
Yeah, it's a big help. I don't know. Having someone in your corner is always a big help, and she was feeding me food because I was very hungry. But yeah, I don't know. It's great to have that support.
Vinny, we truly love you, mate. And as per usual, we'll give you the floor here. I don't have any cheeky fourth question for you. I'm happy for you, but I want to hear what you've got to say after such a, I would just say, such a tremendous victory.
First and foremost, congratulations to our new players that have their first trophy under their belt. They've worked so hard over this offseason to get us to where we are now, and they really deserve it. GG's to Bliss. They obviously didn't play the game they wanted today, but I know they're a really strong team, and they'll come back stage 2 strong as. Thanks to the org for continuing to support us. Thank you to the fans for continuing to support us. Thank you guys for what you guys have done over this weekend. You guys have been unreal as always. And yeah, hopefully we can continue this form into next season.
Vinny, nothing but love for you and Wildcard. We'll let you go and celebrate with the rest of the team and potentially the misses as well. Much love, mate, and we'll speak to you soon.
Thank you, guys. See ya.
All smiles for the wildcard roster, and so it should be. A tremendous victory. I can't reiterate that enough, Dev. Probably one of, if not the most dominant best-of-5 series we have ever seen.
Yeah, and look, I might have been a bit confused at the start, but I got it right eventually, and they've always been close to my heart, and now they remain. Look, Wildcard, it has been a tremendous journey for the players that have been on this roster for a long time, but also for the organization. I mean, the Wildcard name first entered Rainbow Six, what, in like, was it 2019? It would have been 2019. They picked up this amazing Orgless roster that had been known as Orgless for such a long time. They went and did 2 international events during that time. They were a single kill off of beating the eventual Pro League champions in 2019. Of course, no one remains from that roster, but this new-faced wildcard is one that is paving its own identity through in the Oceanic region, and I am excited for what they're capable of. I think that, like Vinny said, having the new players on this roster with a championship under their belt is a big milestone in their careers, but also a reason in the back of their minds to tell themselves, look, it is possible to not only win OCS, win OCN, but go forth and start winning APAC South and making it back to those global events.
Truly, I don't mean to be cheesy, but the world is their oyster. If you have a look at how the Chiefs kind of made their progression last year, very similar. Focused on OCN first, got some good results in APAC. By the end, they were at the Sweden Major. I think, and I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say this is the trajectory that we're seeing from Wildcard, bit on bit, stage on stage. They will continue to improve. But speaking of improving, we've improved from yesterday's games to today's games. Unfortunately, not for Bliss, of course. Let's have a look at the bracket. And Cthulhu, I'll give it to you here. I want you to highlight the key moments here, because there are a couple of key wins, key losses, however you want to put it. There are moments that led to this that really had I just want to say it, an undeniable wildcard in the grand final.
Yeah, look, I definitely want to kind of highlight the big one, the big few matches in the upper part of the bracket. I mean, the Kraken versus Wildcard was the initial kind of showcase how dominant Wildcard were, and I believe it was on Bank, which Wildcard were able to play it out almost perfectly. It was a 7-3 victory that kind of warmed up, I suppose, Wildcard. They gave him just about enough of the, I guess, warm-up / boost of confidence against Knights, who at that point already went through one OT game. and then going through that whole marathon and endurance run for Wildcard pretty much set themselves up with a perfect mental going into the grand final on the side of Team Bliss. That ground zero match, despite it being a 2-0, that cafe game from Bliss nearly was slipped away from them, and it was already starting to show signs of concern for the way how Bliss could be performing this weekend, which kind of ended up, well, resulting in what we ended up getting today. A very clean, apart from maybe middle end of the theme park in the grand final, Wildcard were able to just sweep it all up under the rug. Plus, I would imagine as well, given the fact that Wildcard didn't really have to play out the first round of 16, at least to a certain degree, kind of helped.
Yeah, I guess so. That's one step further that you need to, that you don't have to worry about. Dev, anything that Cthulhu's missed or that you want to double down on?
Mate, very, very thorough Cthulhu. I just think that this is the most unusual grand final I've ever seen, and the inaugural OCS was treated to quite the incredible bracket and a fantastic grand final, and of course, the full circle, 526 days, I think it was, 500 and something, since Wildcard's last championship.
524.
There you go. And it's been a long time between drinks. They finally have it, and they're paving their way into the future.
Before we close out, of course, it's always complimentary, pretty much. Cthulhu, you've got the floor. What would you like to say on Stage 1 as a whole?
Honestly, Stage 1 has been a very fun stage to watch, because on the side of OCL, it's been the stage for the development of the new talent that will be possibly carving their whole new storyline going into the rest of the year. On the side of OCN, finally some questions being answered in regards to some of the teams that were being lackluster. I mean, even with Knights, they had a bit of a dip in their performance previously. They have managed to pull out a win in OCN. And going into OCS, it was kind of that whole, I suppose, the Grand Slam, the grand competition between the two leagues where, it was there was a showcase. Unfortunately for OCL representatives, it was rather short-lived. But despite all that, we managed to witness a great rise to the form by Wildcard, and I think that's kind of the best kind of outcome we could have asked for.
Dev?
It was a good show. It was good fun.
That's
really it, Thanks everyone who's been involved in the show. We had a new producer on, Ashley, who's been absolutely nailing it. We got sick of the usual guy, Brendan, so we got rid of him, and Ashley's stepped into those shoes. And yeah, I mean, it's been great. Everyone behind the scenes, everyone getting behind the teams in chat. There was a lot of fun in the chat during that grand final. We got in on that as well, and it's been a pleasure.
Mate, I don't think I could have said it better than either of you, so I'm just going to summarize here and quickly wrap up. OCL champions, Kraken. OCN champions, in fact, Knights. OCS champions are, in fact, Wildcard. They may be back on the rise. Kraken now join OCN for Stage 2, which is incredible. Congratulations to them. They've been fighting hard for some time now. They are finally in the Tier 1 siege of ANZ. And from all of us here on the desk, a big thank you for joining us. A big thank you to all that have put in. We've had Mandy, we've had Hotto, we've had Blue Panda, of course, the two Muppets that were casting just before. It is an entire effort from the scene. So from the top all the way to the bottom, thank you so much for joining us. It has been nothing short of an absolute pleasure. Make sure you tune into the Charlotte Major and show your support for the OCE team, the Chiefs, as they do take part in the group stages as of the 16th of May. But until Stage 2, that is us done. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you then.
Multiple players on the window repel. And it's so challenging now for Bliss to get back into this. It's only Fisho Guy left, and it leads to a flawless round.
Oh my goodness, they've completely missed him. Mute Jammer right next to him, Wildcard, they will start to the execute, and there we go, Shade pops up from the darkness.
And he can... No! Shade! How? Pat's actually going to try and go for this plan on the angle that is not denied by what a lot of these fireballs are going from the Tachanka. How does the plan go down?
Confidence flowing through the veins of the Wildcard players. Marlo didn't need to contest that, but he does anyway. And Vinny will contest another that he didn't need to, leaving Shade in the 1 versus 4.
Against OJ and Milo, it is not gonna happen. Wildcard are 14-1.
Ridiculous.
I'll go on record. It's happening. This is the start of a montage. Hello and welcome. This is where Bliss brought it back from 2-0 down. Well, this is the thing, though. It's all about form, and right now, over the last round, we've seen Team Bliss double the amount of rounds that they've got in this Grand Final series. That is a worrying statistic for Wildcard, but already making their way back this early on signifies that Bliss are in their head. 1-1, and Bliss have them right where they want them. I think this is where Team Bliss want Wildcard right now. You win this round, and suddenly it's only 2-4. You're going into the second half. You're then going to be on the defense of Theme Park. That's really where you want to be. And so if you find this round, you can actually take momentum going into the second half.
Wildcard with the advantage.
I would disagree. 4-2 half, Theme Park, defend decided. I'd say par for the course is probably the better phrase that you could use there, Guz, right? So Team Bliss right now. And look, Pat's calling for a rehost. They're scared. They're shaken. Game crash. Oh, it's all lies. They look to delay the inevitable. He will plant right on top of the mute chamber. Where's Team Bliss? Where are they, Guz? I can't find them. They're all dead, but they're not on site. This is a catastrophe. And OJ watching.
Such a long time, such a long grind. So many roster changes, so many ups and downs. More downs than ups, to be honest.
Toxic. What an opening kill onto Fisher Guy on the rappel. And that's the Thermite eliminated. No hard breach available. But it just means that Bliss can now change their approach and how they want to attack this
You need to stop. You need to stop. This is getting ridiculous. Wildcard are under no pressure whatsoever.
You never make it. My sister said you think you're a superstar. I said watch your space or run round, yo. I wanna run around, and you said you'll never make it. Changing. Changing. Up and so high. Won't let nobody stand in my way. They can try. They'll be facing me dead on with my head on. You can bet on the fact that I'll be taking what's mine. I've got a grip on how this whole life thing works. It's dog eat dog, love and hate till it hurts. Keep the minds if the wise that despise others' lives. Rise above it all, love it all, and keep your spirits high. Changing. Changing. Cause everybody trying to tell me what to do. Changing. Butterfly alone when I am changing. Why don't you people just do? Can't pull me out like a rabbit from a hat. Cause everybody trying to tell me what to do. Changing. Butterfly alone when I am changing. Why don't you people just do? Can't pull me out like a rabbit from a hat. Cause I'm changing. Nothing feels better when the sun goes down. Darkness heightens senses, sweeten touch and sound. Minutes turn to hours, you let go and lose count. Living in the moment, float with the current of the ocean. Give me a baseline pumping, stuck in my head, no running away. No running away. Sink into the groove, let your body move. You don't need to know the tune, I'll show you the way. I'll show you the way. High on life, cut the brakes, let the night take over. Take a dive, ride the wave. Take one more step closer. Go with the flow and follow your heart. Leave your problems at the door, they won't bother you no more. Tonight is the night, there's no better time to start. Take my hand and jump in. I wanna let loose, get up to something. Give me a baseline bumping, stuck in my head, no running away. No running, no running away. No running. Sink into the groove, let your body move. You don't need to know the tune. I'll show you the way. I'll show you the way. High on life, cut the brakes, let the night take over. Take a dive, ride the wave, take one more step closer. High on life, cut the brakes, let the night take over. Take a dive, ride the wave, take one more